I said, good evening. There we go. It worked. I'm not sure why that happened. Good evening, everyone. For some reason, it seems that literally all of my audio sources have unbound themselves. Welcome all back to another stream on another Wednesday night. A lot has happened this week, relatively speaking, because we have had pre-parties, and that's exciting. We've got lots to show you tonight. Jay is not with us, but there are a couple of guests here who I will introduce in a moment. Quickly before we start, you guys are used to me saying this by now. Make sure that you're subscribed. Make sure you're following on Twitch if you're not already. It is much appreciated. Tanya says, using Tautumeitas thumbnail to pull me in. So correct. Well, you're going to see an interview with Tautumeitas tonight. Someone asked, did you see the comments on the 3 things that you need to know about me, which Parg took part in?
Yeah, fire.
Yes, unfortunately. Stephen says, who's making waves? I am, and subscribes at tier 1. I'll talk very quickly. I'm about to introduce my guests, who are very fun. I'm very excited to have them here with me. Just as a quick reminder, as always, you can subscribe for free on Twitch and financially support me and the channel. If you have Amazon Prime, so make sure to get over there and look into that. Now I'm going to introduce you to a couple of very excellent, superb, and talented people. And that is a couple of fan media colleagues. These are people who I've been working with very closely since the contest in 2024. Those of you who've seen the article, who've seen the video on AI, they helped research it. Those of you who've seen some of the articles we've done, the exclusive revelation showing when Joost Klein was removed from the sequence of the show last year, and more. I'm delighted to introduce to you GJ and James. Would you like to both introduce yourselves, starting with GJ there, because you're up in the top right-hand corner. Unmute yourself first. Oh, no, there you are. Okay, yeah, it's working now. It's fine.
Fine. So I'm GJ. I work for Out TV doing Eurovision stuff, but I also have my own podcast together with Marco, which is the Dutch Eurovision podcast. And yeah, what can I say? It's been a wild ride over the last 5 years. Who knew that this would lead to this? But it's so much fun. And I mean, I've had a wild weekend. Those were 3 pre-parties in 8 days. My God, still recovering. I feel kind of like Ursula, like Ariel battling Ursula, like trying to get his voice back on Monday. But you know what I did, and you are to blame for that, Gabe.
Me? What did I do? I was only at one of them.
You made me sing along to a lot of songs at the after party of LEP.
Well, this is true, and one thing that you will none of you will ever see was and unless you were at LEP and you were downstairs during the after party, is me riding around on GJ's back during Cha Cha Cha.
It was a moment. If you were there, sometimes things are just better experienced offline.
Yes, and for some reason, and I don't envy you for this, you put your hands on the LEP floor after people have been standing it for like 6 hours. So all manner of beer.
My hands have been in filthier places.
Speaking of which, no, I'm kidding. We are also joined by James from Eurovision. Now, you are all actually familiar with James, even if you don't realize it, because all of you are probably aware, because we've been talking about it a lot over the last few weeks, of The Model. Well, the creator is here with us tonight. He's also been interviewing acts over the last few weeks at pre-parties. He's also got some great insights about everything we're going to be talking about today. James, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, I'm James. I do the Eurovision podcast, which you might listen to, and more importantly for a lot of you guys on Game Stream, I make The Model. And can I just say, it's so nice that after doing a lot of interviews in London, to interview an artist that wasn't in London. Obviously, being the Armenian representative, you know, I want to ask you so many things. We have a couple of hours, so
I can't escape.
I'm
sure we'll get some things.
I can't escape. Everywhere I go, Parg this, Parg that.
Can we
It's either
can
that or
we
Duncan,
can we
it's
can we
fine.
start with the most important one? Is it la 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 or ra 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 ra? Because the backdrop says ra 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 ra, but the lyrics say la la la. Park, please help us out.
And the way he sings it is kind of like loy 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 loy. So when I say he, I mean me, of course. I am.
Yeah, the
Park.
way you sing it.
Well, I would say it is La. I'm saying it's La, and I am the authority on this. And the entire chat is just full of people spamming Garg.
Yes. Yes. And that now means that I from now on will call you Garg Amel.
No!
And yes.
Stop enabling
Yes.
them! Stop enabling them! They have enough encouragement
So-
as it is.
So what is your opinion on Smurfs? Quickly.
They're fine, I guess. I like their little hats. I wish I had a little hat.
Blue dabba dee dabba die. That'll come up, I imagine.
Oh yes.
We'll
Talk about
get
that.
to that. God. We are... Okay, now we've buried the streaming Garg / Gargamel.
Gargamel, I'm living for that. We're going to keep that going.
Unfortunately, chat seems to have embraced it.
Yes.
And someone says, if you subscribe, you can help this impoverished British man buy a Smurf hat. Exactly. So, we've got a lot to talk about tonight. Thank you very much, Cyan, and also Marissa Greypurse, and also Ollie Not Pro for the subscriptions and donations. We have a lot to get through tonight. Obviously, we between us have interviewed most of this year's artists. We've been to multiple pre-parties, so we've seen these guys perform a few times now. We've got an insight into how they're thinking because we've seen not just the interviews we've done, we've seen each other's interviews. We've also seen in general the kind of aura that the acts are giving off in general, the kind of feelings that they're projecting. And so what we're going to do tonight, most importantly, is myself and Jay were in that press room. We have lots of interviews for you tonight to give you an insight into what is coming. We have interviews with Tautumeitas, Kyle Alessandro, Marco Bosnjak, Gojo, Vibe, of course, about Only Minecraft, Justyna Steczkowska, Red Sebastian, Catharsis, Vasil, Emmy. And then we also have, you guys have contributed some here too, because we wanted to make sure that you guys saw some interviews with some of the big guns. We have Miriana Conte, we have Erica Vickman, and we have Adonis. So,
Amazing.
that's a pretty strong lineup of people.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm really glad. This is actually the first time I got to do... Oh, thank you so much. Somebody who's... does GJ stand for Gabe J or Garg Jern?
I'll let the chat decide because I know what's in my passport and I won't bore you with that. But you know what? If whatever the internet decides.
Okay,
I feel like, Gabe,
I'm
you
making
put up a lot
poll.
of polls on these streams.
Make
There
it
we
a
go.
poll.
GJ.
We know they
stands
love polls
for-
here.
Meanwhile, I want to preface this because there's one moment that every year creeps up on me, and I think both of you agree, which happens during pre-parties.
Yeah.
Which is that awful moment where you've kind of been detached from the songs in terms of we've been saying what we think about them. You know, I've been on several other podcasts. Shout out to 12 Points from USA, which ended up in a discussion about the Hellboy movies, which I loved. But you kind of get there and you realize, oh shit, they're all human. And some of them are genuinely nice.
Mm-hmm.
And while you might not see a chance for them to qualify because you think you know how this contest works and what the audience wants, or you might have some gripes with how songs are made, this is that moment where you go, fuck, they're actually nice people and they're all really enjoying this. Damn. So I want to start with that because I think that's kind of an important moment to realize also for everyone who's watching that, you know, that's always an important moment in the season. And I always wish I had a little bit earlier because I don't regret anything I've said on anywhere. Don't say that. But it just becomes this, oh, damn, they're all lovely. And this year, they're truly, I've not met a single artist that is just not lovely this year.
And this is the
I
thing,
agree.
actually, that has evolved since... Sorry, Jen, I'll come to you in a second. But that has evolved since I started this channel. If you guys go back and watch some of my earlier videos compared to now, I hope I'm still sort of... I try to be unfiltered. I try to, you know, be very, like, straight to the point. But at the same time, over time, you become... the options were Gabe J and Garg Jern. Back to my point. over time, as this whole thing has sort of grown and gotten a little bit out of hand, to be honest, increasingly you come into contact with artists, and also you become conscious that artists are watching your videos. I had multiple delegations this weekend go, I know your videos. And that is scary, because you start going back and thinking like, what have I said?
That part.
What have I said?
And also, I feel a little bit shitty having this conversation with you, maybe even like on air or in private, because that happens too. And you're like, oh, I said something really awful about your song, but I'm now having a nice chat with you. I feel like a bad person.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, that is also part of what we do. We are reviewers, and that's what I sometimes say. The things I'll say about songs are how I think it'll do in the contest. That takes nothing away from their effort, their artistry, or their talent.
James, you were going to say
except
something.
except if you're representing Denmark and you lie about your age by putting on way too much foundation and buy likes from a Southern Asia country.
If we could go back to the start.
I was still be falling apart.
Oh, the stream's already falling apart.
Sorry, James, you were going to say. Continue.
I was going to say, I mean, it's kind of going off Ray's point, but the thing you have to do really is you get a separation between like what you actually think about it on an objective level and then what you think about the artist on a human level. Like, all of these acts are really good fun to chat to, and they're so lovely and they're really generous with their time. And so I really just try to talk to them on a human level. And then whatever opinion I have on the song, I mean, there's definitely people I've interviewed, maybe the song isn't my personal taste, but that doesn't mean I can't connect with them on a level where they're a person and they're going through this experience. And, if you're interviewing them, you should be uplifting that as opposed to bringing them down in any way. It's a great lineup of people this year. They're all really nice. I mean, when we watch your interviews with lineup of folks, I think everyone's going to see that.
Yeah, I hope so. I think also the thing is to a certain extent, there's a line of questioning, I think, a way in which you have to approach it, which is you don't have to go into an interview with the mindset of, oh, I have to lavish praise on this person, be like, oh, I love your song, because if it's not true, then don't do it, right? And we've seen people get caught out in the past doing that. But if you go in and approach it with the mentality of, I want the people who like this, who are watching, to find out more about this person, to learn something from this, then you often won't end up in those awkward situations anyway. Even if they know you've said not nice things about their song before, if you're asking them interesting questions, they will respond to it in a way that reflects that. That's what I think anyway. Shall we talk? Because I saw someone talk about it in chat. There was one act which I did interview, which I missed from that list, which was Dolly Style. Now,
oh God, yes! Now, I'm so excited for this. This is gonna be good because I could just can I tease this? I was given spy footage of something that you watching the stream may not always see. And this is just about to be the most wholesome, cutest thing you've ever seen in your life.
Beautiful. It is
right
precious.
Now. This is real life footage of me and Jay meeting Dolly Style for the first time.
No. Wait. Stop. We have to preface this. I know. Just wait a second.
Okay, sorry.
James, you and I have to talk about this because you were standing next to him and I was a little bit further away. But I don't think I've seen Gabe ever be so excited and so adamant to speak to an artist, running around going, please, 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 can I speak to Dolly Style? This may have been his highlight of that afternoon. It wasn't meeting Vibe. It wasn't meeting Kai for the first time. It wasn't meeting any artist or interacting with any of his fans or seeing us again, friends he hasn't seen in a long time in a physical space. It was him meeting Dolly Style. And Gabe and James, you were next to it. What was it like for you before we go into this video?
What I've always liked about Gabe is that he's very, very composed in the press room, and he doesn't sort of let his fandom get in the way of it. He's always very controlled. When Dolly Style arrived, it was like a mask had been removed. It was like a blanket had come off a bed. He turned into just a fan again. You might as well play it. I mean, I've already seen it, but it is just the most wholesome thing.
There's a heartbreaking turn to this, though, and I'm going to say this to you guys now.
No. Do it after. Do it after.
Just
Play the
do it
video
after.
first.
Okay.
You play this now.
Right.
Enjoy the moment.
This is my very handsome cameraman, Jay. No lies
Look at
detected.
Jay.
No lies detected as well. Shout out to Jay. But just this look on Gabe's face is just like this
That
is a
freeze
kid.
frame's amazing.
That is a kid that for the first time has gone to Disneyland and realizes Mickey Mouse is standing right in front of him.
Yeah,
That is Christmas morning.
There's some artists, the thing is with Dolly Style, right? I remember watching Melfest years and years and years ago and seeing Hello Hi and these kinds of things. So the sort of aura of Dolly Style has always existed. But it's the sort of artist, because I've never been to Melfest, right? I never thought I would ever meet Dolly Style. I never thought I'd ever interview Dolly Style. And yet, here we are. Now, I do have to, unfortunately, bring some bad news, which is that you see, at the end, these microphones I'm holding here, these, for some reason, now, I promise you, there's a silver lining to this, so bear with me, don't get too sad. Those microphones failed. The microphones failed, and as a result, the audio was like, I would need to subtitle it. I can probably release it, and I'll put it on Discord for anyone who's on the Discord. I will put it there with subtitles at a later date. But we're working something out. I don't know the details yet. We'll do something. We're going to make up for it. There will be some kind of ESC Gabe Dolly Style crossover in the near future. Leave it with me. Let me see what I can do. Okay? In the meantime,
Listen,
we'll get this
these
subtitled.
microphones were just like, you know what? This is too much Ossedos. It's Gabe, Jay, and Dolly Style in one room. I'm shutting down.
It was too much. It was just too much. And Jay is right. We did test them before and everything. It was just, it's really bad luck. But from clouds come multicolored silver linings, and we'll work something out, okay? We'll work something out. We're going to make it worth it for all of you. So while it was that, just to demonstrate what this audio is like, by the way, because that's just Jay's phone, right? It for some reason it just didn't go, which is obviously a shame. But someone suggests Gabe, Jay, Vibe, and Dolly Style all play Minecraft. I think there'd be a
My God.
there'd be some kind. That would be too much. I think I'd get really
Break
overstimulated.
the server.
Yeah.
Gabe, did you do the dance with them?
No.
You didn't yeehaw with them?
You didn't yeehaw with them?
You guys sound so upset by this. I need to. Okay.
That's
in that
like
case,
a rite of passage.
I interviewed all the acts for Out TV because we're broadcasting the full LEP shows later this month on May 3rd and 10th on Out TV, and I think it's also coming to Amazon Prime in the UK and around Europe. I actually got to go into a full discussion with them on what makes the perfect yeehaw, whether it's the elbow or the wrist. It was glorious.
What, and form? You're having a discussion about form?
No, I literally went, is it the wrist or is it the elbow? What is the trick to the best yeehaw move?
And what was the trick?
Yeah, what was the trick?
They said it's all about the wrist, and it's all about, just really putting your all into it. And I was like, I love it.
You got to get that flick.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the kind of insight we're able to get, isn't it? It's just incredible.
Listen, I will keep saying this to anyone, and I've said it to two of the songwriters as well. There is something laced in this song where I don't know what it is. It is just a drug. It's addictive. I love this. And I love the fact that the crowd went absolutely bonkers for it at LEP.
I think this is actually one thing, because LEP did this last year, and I think it's something quite good they did. They got their ear to the ground about Melfest, realized people would like Jacqueline, and just booked her.
Yeah.
And it really worked out. And they did the same thing this year with Dolly Style, and it was really smart. And they were such a good opener. It got everyone going. And I'm really glad we're still talking about them, despite the fact that there's this technical issue here. because also my mentality towards this, basically, they were nice enough to give me their time. So I want to give them just as much time as if this interview did work on this stream. Right. And I do think that I think they're going to be back. And I think now that they've come this far, I'd love to see them. I mean, I'd love to see them at Eurovision, but it needs to, the challenge is to capture that kind of lightning in a bottle, right? That takes them that extra distance.
We saw that, I think they, you know, in a year where Melfest was already breaking so many traditions, the fact that they came fifth with the juries proved that, you know, their appeal is way bigger than it was. The fact that I think half the crowd was doing the Habibi dance at LEP said the same thing. And I just love the fact that they were so overjoyed to be at LEP. I mean, we now have videos of Dolly Style dancing in front of Big Ben.
It's genius.
And they love
anything. There was another one on the tube today.
I know. You know, it's great when you see those acts that sometimes I think, especially with Melfest, where there is a lot of international eyes on it, and, you know, on a lot of, I think, these things. And this was a trend throughout the weekend, I must say, because I went to Menkhagen, which we'll talk about later, seeing the reception there for Jacobello, but also for Josh from Portugal, was just so lovely to see that there were so many people who were like, you were amazing. You get to be really proud of what you did there. And you would have also been a great representative without slagging off the winners of those national finals. And for those artists to get that chance to go to different parties, for some it was their first performance outside of their home country. You know, it's just, that's what these pre-parties can also do.
And this is the other thing, is that it actually, these kinds of things, they change the equation, especially in, you know, in Melfest. The Eurovision thing is almost secondary because Melfest is so big and, like, is massively increases the chance of you having it hit, provided you don't, you know, produce the kind of nothing burgers that finish last in the semi-finals. I'm looking at you, Do Good, Be Better. Terrible song. Anyway, if you can get to a national final, not win, and still build up this cult following, then you can get through.
Yeah, exactly. I'm here for the chat going, dude, be better. It's like, it was genuinely like the inner thoughts of R2D2. Dude, be better.
Oh my God. And someone said, be good, do good, look good.
Dude, be better. My God.
Yeah. Anyway, we're getting awfully sidetracked. It's 22 minutes. We haven't played a single interview yet. So I want to take us to the first one.
No. Sorry, I'm going to crash you one more time, Gabe, because there's one thing we have to talk about before we get to
this. Is off the rails already.
You get one more thing, GJ, and then I'm marching this on.
Love this. Also, Gabe, I want to talk about this really, really quickly. I gave you a very, you know, a bag.
Oh, and I still have
these were in it.
So GJ
we need to talk about these.
Here's the remnants. These are the nicest biscuits I've ever had. So GJ brought them to. There was like a Visit Basel thing in Amsterdam, wasn't there? And they were giving out these gift bags to the accredited press in Amsterdam, and there were these really nice like honey biscuits, and they were delicious.
They are like honey gingerbread type of things. It's truly the reason I don't want to go back to Basel, because I will come back and I will be like Augustus Gloop round when I come back because of these. But I was like, we need to bring them on. They are Jacob Basler's Leckerli, and trust me, if any of you are going to Basel, these will be your addiction. I'm not even kidding you.
Indeed.
They are absolutely stunning. I mean, the whole Basel Tourism Board was in Amsterdam, which is pretty rare for a host city to actually like have a delegation essentially out at a pre-party.
This
but they were giving out gift bags to everyone. And
by Jacobs Basler Leckerli. In all seriousness, we have a lot of interviews to get through. I really want to get on. So we're going to start with the girls in the thumbnail, which is Tautumeitas. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to let the interview play all the way through, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the act. We're going to talk about how we think they're doing through pre-party season. We're going to talk about our impressions of them, sort of, you know, how they're doing, you know, on a sort of more human level as well, based on our interactions with them. So let's let it go. Sorry about all the LEDs in the back. I chose a bad spot in this room. Hi guys, it's Gabe here. As you can see, I am the newest member of Tautumeitas. That was really cool. How did you do that?
Oh, you have another one.
Well,
Where are you finding these things?
I think something is in your jeans.
I am bewitched, which I think was probably the idea because the whole act is bewitching and it's sort of touching on folk tales of the forests and all the rest. I wanted to sort of ask you guys, how did you each sort of find each other and how did you each find this kind of music as how you could tell your stories?
We are raised by like this. Our parents are also digging deep and doing all those traditions. We are celebrating Midsummer Solstice, all those celebrations. So we were born and raised with the tradition, and then what we do, we sing those songs, and then we just add something from nowadays world because this is where we live in this world, and we want to make this music modern, and we want to spread the message from our ancestors.
And I wanted to also ask about, more generally, I mean, singing is so important to Latvian culture. And I think it's really, and there's sort of the famous, the way that Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania regained their independence was in a large part through singing.
Yeah.
Most of our audience isn't going to be that familiar with just how important singing is to Latvians. So would you be able to explain that a bit more?
Well, you explained very well.
Well, about like the song festival, about how it started. That
Yes, we are raised with music. We have a really strong choir singing traditions, and we had quite a bit of bad history, and we became free by song revolution. It was called Revolution with Songs. So it's how we see ourselves and how we fight in this world and how we stand in this world with a song.
And I want to add that in those songs there are very strong symbols that we know what it means, but those who try to conquer us, they don't know what it means. So by singing with those symbols, we just sort of got united by the Baltic states, and that gave us this unity and believe in ourselves that we can get independent, and that's very important.
And I think Latvians have found that how therapeutical, how you can really
Therapeutic.
Yeah, that's never mind.
It lets you let something out, right? It's like taking a big deep breath.
Yes.
And a release. When it comes to Eurovision, now the one thing I find interesting is there's this beautiful singing tradition in Latvia, and then we have sort of 20 years no songs in Latvian at Eurovision.
Yeah, that's crazy.
How do you guys feel about being the ones to bring it back? And is there a sort of question mark of, okay, how do we sort of demonstrate what we're singing in the right way so that everyone can understand it?
Well, that's why Eurovision stage is so amazing, and that's how we can express. People don't need to understand the lyrics, but they write in the all over the internet. They write, "Oh, I'm from Brazil, but I feel like they are singing about my ancestors." So it's not only about Latvia, but about each of all the countries, of their uniqueness, of their culture, and finding the roots. Yeah.
You don't need to speak in the same language. You just know throughout the music and the dances and the emotions.
And to celebrate the uniqueness and the differences.
And it makes me really happy that we're sort of seeing this from the Baltics for the second year in a row. Last year, and my regular viewers will know I never miss a chance to mention Nendes Narkotikumideste Tempividagi from Estonia last year. For a Vice Minister Puuluup, they were playing the Tal
Hey,
harper.
sorry, I'm gonna.
What do you think it is about sort of the Baltic sort of spirit and mindset that makes people in the Baltics especially keen recently to want to share their folk music with the world?
We are lost pagans in Europe.
Yeah.
We had our tradition for the longest. That's why it's preserved the best.
Well, with that tradition will continue to be preserved. Hopefully it will also be being preserved in the grand final too. It would be fantastic to see you all there. There we go. So I didn't realise, by the way, I did not realize how self-conscious I would feel doing this. I'm sitting here like hyper-analyzing every tiny thing I do, criticizing myself for every question and being like, get to the point with everything I say.
Listen. Let me explain to anyone watching this how this works. We are in a room with about 25 of our colleagues, which is not air conditioned. Everyone's looking at us through a glass wall outside. There is constant.
Yeah, you do get ogled.
And you have no idea what artist you're speaking next. I had the same thing where you're like, you have to remember that we've been talking about these artists for a while, but for a long time. And then like this artist comes up, you're like, right, can I talk to you now? Or you get, they're like, hi, we're coming up to talk to you next. And you're like, what part of my brain do I have to activate where all the information about this act is in? Mm-hmm. So this is just a little bit of that chaos of that room. And I think you did really, really well. But can we talk about the fact that we have a group where all the members have their own personalities and are like speaking up?
That is really great.
Things.
Yes.
That doesn't always happen, even in normal bands, but especially at Eurovision over the last couple of years. And it was just really lovely to see how well gelled they are, how energetic they were. They were at some points really funny, but then they were really serious. Like we see in this interview, you got great stuff out of them. It's lovely to see.
I found, speaking to them, that they are like different acts sort of react to this pressure of this kind of event in different ways. I think with a group like Tautumeitas, thank you very much, Liam, for the subscription. With a group like Tautumeitas, they adapt. They seem to have adapted to it well. What was remarkable about them is that they're not particularly introverted or extroverted, but they're at ease. Like it makes it so much easier because they're just comfortable, right? And I think it helps when there's several of you sort of in it together. I kind of feel for the solo artists or something because there's no way that anyone else can understand that experience. The next interview we will talk about in a minute will be with a solo artist as well. And there's a few of these who are there are a few of these who who are sort of dealing with it in all different ways. I mean, James, you spoke to them as well.
Did.
How did you what did you glean from them, and how do you think they're handling this experience so far?
He seemed content, I think is the word I'd use. It's like you say, like there are some artists who come into interviews and you can maybe gauge that maybe, they're not feeling it on a particular day, which is totally understandable. But for the Tautumeitas girls, the folk girls, as that translates to, they all seem really calm and happy. And that really helps when you're having a chat because it just feels like you're in a conversation sort of around coffee as opposed to like an intense interview. I think they're really happy with how it's going. And I really, really like the song as well. And I do hope it's going to do better than perhaps some people are suggesting. But yeah, I think they're great, to be honest.
I mean, I'd love for them to qualify. But what I will go back to, and GJ just briefly mentioned it, and they aren't the only ones to do this. There is a certain bizarre trend, a long time-honored tradition, I'll say, of these kinds of press rooms. Lots of acts kind of come bearing gifts. And so Tautumeitas brought a couple of things. And GJ, I believe you have them to hand so you can show them to us.
I have the Tautumeitas passport, which is kind of like their bio in it and some stuff about the song. Really smart, really handy as well. I think this is a really good, like, one page, like 2-3 pager, which just explains who they are, where they're from, what the song's based on, what they've done before, etc. But they also brought Tautumeitas coffee beans. Do you want me to read the label? Because the label's quite something.
Please.
Oh, go on then, sure. Because I actually didn't see these. I didn't get one of these.
We want to awaken you, take you to the source of Mother Earth's primal power. May you see what needs to be seen and hear what needs to be heard. Light up like midsummer's fire. May the gentle bitterness of the coffee bean blast open the gates to the stars.
May that intern be paid well for their work.
I love it.
It's fun. It's just also a little bit... I love how silly it is, right? Because to a certain extent, you have to lean into sort of how extra the whole event is. And by doing things like this, I don't know, it helps because it sort of adds this little bit of colour. And there's a reason acts do this like this. It's so fun. I love it.
And they gave them a fun something to remember and also to give during interviews. But let's talk about that performance, because this was actually, I believe, their second pre-party, because they were present in Oslo due to their touring. They couldn't make it to Eurovision and Concert last week in Amsterdam. How did you feel they were received in the room at LEP?
Well, unfortunately, Jay, I'll take this because unfortunately, poor James was not in the room. He did press in the afternoon.
I've seen the performances back.
But yeah, now some of you will have seen this performance. They sounded great. One of the biggest things that scares me, and I've said this on a few different occasions, it has to be super tight, right? This kind of thing gets muddy if it's not super tight. But this was maybe just because I'm biased because I was there in the room, but it was the most I'd enjoyed the song. Those harmonies are so clear and refreshing live, and it was just really special to see. It was probably one of my highlights of the night, actually, and they've moved significantly up my ranking in the time since then. Yeah. I just think some artists, you just really appreciate it when you see it live. You just think, wow, like these guys really know what they're doing. And that's how I felt about it.
You know what I would say to that, actually, is that with their vocals, they kind of have this warm, like, round the campfire feel. I think it's much better to hear an ethereal harmony live as opposed to when you get it through the sound mix on TV during the Eurovision shows. Sometimes you lose a bit of that, like, magic. That's maybe one of the things that makes me doubtful about how it will translate, because we know that folk music can be a bit hit or miss at Eurovision. What I'm hoping for is just a bit of that magic comes across, and that will come down to staging and lighting and all of those kinds of things.
GJ looks quizzical about something.
No, well, two things. I think, first of all, I think I'm more confident about this after knowing how Vesna did in Liverpool. Because I think that's kind of that will go into the same perception of a general audience member sitting at home who's not in the fandom, which is a vote you really need. Second of all, this was one of those acts which I got to see live, where it felt like even without the staging, it was still so solid. That doesn't happen for all of them. Some really need the staging in terms of to tell the story of the song. You can just tell these girls have been touring for a long time. They know what they were doing. They were also intensely... I love the fact how they balanced the conceptual part of their group with being silly. I mean, doing a fertility spell on Sissel backstage and Sissel absolutely bolting it was one of my social media highlights of the weekend. So they're genuine, they're fun, but it doesn't feel like it's like this too much of an act and there's not actual humans inside of it.
Definitely.
So yeah,
I think it's the sort of thing that comes with experience. And, we're saying that they felt relaxed and comfortable in that space. These girls have been doing this for quite a while, actually. And, like, they've played Glastonbury. Like, I know. They really, really know what they're doing. And this is probably, for them, a sort of more comfortable position to be in as a result. We do have lots to get through, so I'm going to move us on now to the next one. And I've deliberately gone from them. I thought that would make a nice contrast to go from that to an act with who's sort of earlier on in their career. And that is Kyle Alessandro. I'll put him up on screen here. Here we are, again, standing in front of that ridiculous purple screen that I should not have stood in front of. It's just weird. We have this weird like haze around us. It's like the camera doesn't know what to do with the pixels surrounding our bodies. Now, the first question of this I found was quite funny because I had this whole theory, and then he was basically like, he was very nice about it, but he was like, yeah, no, not really, you're wrong. But you guys will see that in a second. So I am going to play it now, and then we'll have a little talk about how we feel Kyle is doing at the moment. We are back again in the most chaotic room in the world with Kyle Alessandro.
Yes.
You've now been in quite a few rooms like this, both at MGP and then on your Eurovision journey so far.
Yeah.
How are you finding it? And is there anything that maybe has been unexpected?
Yeah, I didn't expect like everything to be this big. I don't know why, but I don't know why I didn't expect it to be this big, but I didn't. So I got like at the first pre-party in Stockholm, I was like, oh, wait, what?
There's a lot of people here.
Yeah, there's a lot of people here. And no, but I'm having an amazing time, and the community is so like good at taking care of me because I feel like everyone looks at me a little bit like a little brother.
Aww.
So I feel very good. What's it called? Taken good care of.
Yeah, that's really good to hear. Now, obviously, you were even younger when you first gave this a go.
Yeah.
And I really love how we can see some of the same, like, sort of K-pop influences
Yeah.
in what you do and the way you move now as to with Umami Tsunami.
Yeah.
And, like, it feels like something that really inspires you. It fits well because it's all about the performance, right?
Yeah.
And so is that something that you've looked to in the past for, okay, when I envision myself on stage, I see some of these K-pop groups at all?
Not really,
Just
but
like, no.
Umami Tsunami was like K-pop.
Not really.
It happens, Gabe. It happens.
Like a K-pop inspired group, blending K-pop with Nordic pop. So it was very K-pop inspired. But this time around, I'm very like the reference for the choreography and the staging is Rosalia and Rihanna's Super Bowl show.
Gotcha, right.
So no, it's not really, but it might just be like subliminally in my head, like that yeah.
I think also it's natural, isn't it? You know, Eurovision, it's so everything's
Performance-based.
so choreographed to within
Yeah.
an inch. And obviously, for you as someone who's had experience with that,
Yeah.
it's probably you feel kind of in your element, right? Because I
Yeah,
look at your stage
100%.
performance and I'm like, this is what he does.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I love being on the stage, and that's where I feel like is home. So yeah, yeah.
I wanted to ask one more question, which was about, and I actually asked a similar question to Gojo just before,
Okay.
because we've seen that some of the artists this year, you all seem to have a really close bond.
Yeah.
We see artists like becoming friends every year, but it feels like particularly strong this year. How much easier does it make this experience to have these people you can turn to and be like,
Yeah.
I'm not going crazy, right? Like this is
Yeah.
actually...
Yeah, no, it's amazing. Especially Sistal, JJ, Luan, Gojo, Mirjana Conte, Erika Wikman. And Adonis, Adam.
Oh, he's right. He's right there. I didn't even see that.
No,
Talking to me.
I feel like I can really just talk about anything and nothing to them, if that makes sense. So if I stay silent backstage, like we all know intuitively that okay, maybe we need like peace and like calm. We need to be calm now. I just feel very grateful. Thankful?
Yeah, grateful, thankful, yeah. But,
That I got to make these friends now.
well, I think you're going to do a lot more than just make friends.
Yeah.
I think we'll be seeing you in that. I'm pretty sure we'll be seeing you in that grand final stage, which is
Thank
really
you.
exciting. And
Thank
of course tonight, we look forward to it. You've probably got to rush and like get your dinner and speak to a million other people probably. So we'll let you go now. But thank you so much for the time.
Thank you.
And good luck.
Thank you.
See you again very soon.
Thank you.
Gabe got a hug. How cute.
Oh, look how
How
pleased I am.
lovely.
To be fair, I will
You
say
are.
this was one of my favorite interviews of the day. And like, I think we sort of got on a level straight away. I think with different people, I think you have to try and pitch interviews in different ways, right? Because the best way is to try and essentially say, like, here's roughly where I think you're at. Do you want to elaborate on that? And I think with someone who's in the position of Kyle, who's quite young, I thought the best place to start was basically like, this is ridiculous. Like, what everything we are doing, especially because this was the last interview that Kyle did. And that person you can see to the right is actually James, who immediately after this, Kyle's rep said, very sorry, we're out of time. We can't do any more interviews. So,
That's the way it goes.
but we will see an interview that James did with Adonis in a bit. Thank you to Dylan, by the way, for joining as a member during that section. But I was thinking, okay, I know it's his last interview. Which means he's done a lot today. He's probably hungry. He's a bit tired. Let's leverage that. Like, this is crazy. There's a lot going on. Like, how well do you feel that you're dealing with it?
He did 2 pre-parties that weekend, mind you. He was in Manhagen as well on Saturday. So I can't believe that, how these artists do it. And what I picked up from Kyle, because I've seen Kyle, me and James have seen Kyle at Melfest weekend, I believe, and then also at Eurovision concert. There is this growing confidence not necessarily confidence, but ease in which he's now performing lighter on the stage. I think, the first time he did it at Melfest weekend, he didn't have any dancers with him, and he had them with him for his entire, run during the national final. So I think the first 2 times we saw him do it, it was very much like putting on the front and like, this is how I move and this is how I look. If I look at, especially this weekend, there's such an ease. He's enjoying it more. He's having more fun with it. And I think also this weekend he introduced a little bit of new choreography.
Oh,
Yeah, there was a bit of elevation
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah, he said something to me on Saturday at Menhagen that there's a new choreo coming, so we'll see.
Exciting.
That is exciting, especially because, and I mean, I've said this before, with this song, right? In my opinion, and you'll hear this, you guys are going to hear this again on Friday, provided the video is ready by Friday, because this Friday, we are doing a tier list of every single Eurovision entry of this year. I've already filmed it, so I know what I'm going to say. I actually filmed it at 7:30 this morning, so I've got a big bag under one of my eyes. It's really funny because I just rolled out of bed. I actually say this about Lighter. I ranked it quite, I won't say where, but I ranked it fairly high. And I said, look, NRK are really lucky that Kyle Alessandro showed up. Because there are lots of people who can sing. There are lots of people who can dance. There aren't many who can do both at the same time. This song is sold to its like maximum possible potential because Kyle is in such an element when he does it. Like, it makes it about him, right? It doesn't just feel like someone's taken a song and a performer. It feels like it feels well integrated. And so I'm really impressed by him and the way he's handling it. And I'm impressed by the way they've staged this, the way they're going about it. I think it's really exciting. I think the whole thing it's a really exciting project.
I think it's.
What I would say about Kyle is that he is so solid in his approach, I think, to everything. And with a younger artist, I mean, you talked about it with him. I mean, it's such a big thing, Eurovision. It's so easy to be overwhelmed by all of it. But he's really focused, I've felt and I've noticed. And when you actually see Lighter on stage, it is such a solid performance every time. You know he's going to deliver it right. Like, there's no concern about whether Kyle's going to deliver the performance right. That's going to be absolutely fine. This, to me, looks pretty much nailed on for the final at this point.
Yeah, I'd say it's
nailed on.
I'd say it's nailed on. Last words on Kyle, and then we're going to move on to the next one.
Oh, I thought you were actually like this are my last words on Kyle. And then
I've said all my words. I'm just wondering if anyone else had any. Do you have any?
Hey,
words,
listen. We're crashing your house. I'm just like, okay.
Well, you can have 3 words. Use them wisely.
Gabri Ponte Pasta.
Oh, we'll come back to that. That's a good.
We'll get back to that.
Oh my god! Yeah, no, seriously. The Gabri Ponte pasta that says this is not edible. Do not eat. We're going to come back to that later. Moving on. Next, now this is, you can see the microphone failed here because I have my phone in my hand. We have the absolutely lovely. Yeah, everyone's really confused by Gabri Ponte pasta. You're going to have to wait a little bit, okay? After this interview, we'll talk about Marco, and then we'll talk about it. You got it. This is the thing. You throw a teaser out there early, and then you come back to it later. So stick around if you want to hear about the Gabri Ponte pasta.
Can we talk about Marco Bosnjak and just the absolute respect that I have for the fact that he is so vulnerable, not just in interviews. I mean, he cried on the official Eurovision podcast taping that afternoon with Steve Holden. I had an interview with him because the duality in his current lived experience is already insane. Because I don't know if you talked about it, Gabe.
We did, in fact. That's in the interview, so he'll talk a little bit about it in this.
But just the fact that he's still showing up, still taking it every moment. He is truly, I think, for me, the most embodiment of what does it mean for a young artist with like a career in just their own country, starting out, to then be blown up to the Eurovision world stage. Because and that's just the best example I have this year. But let's go and watch.
I do want to say to the people who are saying intelligent garg pasta in chat, I just want you to all know that you're like, God is judging you, and you should seek salvation. Anyway, here we go. Kindly clap for us, so we're in sync. See, now he has to edit this later now, so the joke's on you. I am here at London Eurovision Party, as you already know, because you just saw you're already here. With Marco Bosnjak from Croatia.
Yes.
And I have a question for you about cake. Okay. Well, or more about your music video and the cake in the music video.
Oh yeah.
Because you're singing it's quite an angry song. It's quite like sort of and then at the end you're talking about the poison cake. Then you eat the cake.
I do.
Am I reading into too much to that, or is there a message there? And if so,
Could you keep it cryptic so people still have to, you know?
No, I want people to basically form their own opinion on it, like you did. It's there for a reason. That's all I'm saying. But basically, I am like this villain master, and I can take a bite of my own poison cake, but it's not gonna poison me. Duh. Like, you know, in a way. But apart from that, we had 2 cakes in the music video. One of them was a fake cake, and the other one was a real one, because we had to test out like the last part if it's gonna look good. So
Really
one cake
fixated
was
on this
completely
fake cake
fake,
for some reason.
and then I couldn't tell the difference between which one was real and which one was fake. Do you know that challenge? I think it was on TikTok or somewhere. Is this real
Is
or
it cake?
Yeah, is
and then
it
they
cake?
turned it into a show and everything.
Yes.
I had to stop watching it. It was really stressful.
It was really stressful. Yeah. So that's how I felt during the music video, because I had the whole snake of like 2 meters and like it was 7 kilograms heavy. First the snake, then the pool which I was laying in. It was super cold and it had milk inside, and I had cakes. So it was definitely a heavy music video, but I
This is the
enjoyed
thing.
it so much.
But this is the kind of thing is that what people don't see when you're filming these things is
Yeah.
there's all these kinds of things going on, and it's like, oh, well, it costs a lot of money. If we bake 10 cakes just in case, that's going to cost a lot of money. But if we have a fake cake, then we need to find someone who can make the fake cake because the baker can't make the fake cake.
Yeah.
These things get very out
we
of hand.
managed. We really found an amazing baker.
really
woman
fixated
who
on the fake
made
cake.
It out of what is the word? Styropor. Like I don't know.
There's no baker.
Mirta, как se kaže styropor? Styrofoam. Yes,
right.
she made it from styrofoam and just put the frosting on top, so it looked very real. But yeah, she's very talented. Yeah.
And speaking of staging and things that need to be done for staging, obviously we're looking forward now to the contest.
Yeah.
It's complex. There's a lot of moving parts. It's a very different stage. Literally, I mean, it's shaped totally differently to the stage at Dora. Have you had any kind of challenges where it's like, oh, well, I want to do this thing, but I don't know if it's going to work in this space? Have there sort of had to be like sort of
Yeah, I mean,
reiterations and stuff?
the first thing is our rehearsal space. Like, where do you get a huge rehearsal space like that? Like, that is really the biggest challenge that we have right now, because there's like only one part of the stage that I think 27 meters.
Wow.
So we really need like a huge hall to like rent it out and to completely like do rehearsals that are, you know, because we're doing it in a much smaller space right now. But we're gonna adjust some things. That's what professionals do. You show up, you see how the stage is, and then you see what adjustments need to be made. But it's definitely gonna be very much improved than what we've seen at Dora.
And the one other thing I wanted to talk about is about kind of the Eurovision bubble and about these two kinds of, you know, and I saw a TV interview you did where essentially you have the reception of the Eurovision bubble and you have the reception domestically in Croatia, which have been
completely different.
Quite different, naturally. Does it feel like, in terms of your ability to focus on preparing, in terms of your mental state, does it help to be at events like this where it's, you know, you're surrounded by Eurovision fans, it's a very socially different kind of vibe?
No, honestly, this is the best thing the best thing about this whole experience are exactly these pre-parties, because I needed them spiritually. Like, I needed to go out of my home country and to really feel that there are people who are rooting for me and who are loving what I'm doing and who are supporting me. And that really changed my whole mindset and perception of what I am and how worthy I am of, you know, representing my country and doing the best I can. People here have really like created a safe space for me, and I feel loved and I feel accepted and I feel seen. So that's very, very important for me.
That is, I think, the absolute perfect place to finish off, because that is how the entire Eurovision experience should be, and I hope very much that that's the experience one day in Croatia too. Marco, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We wish you all the best of luck. We're looking forward to seeing your show tonight. And
see you tonight.
Yes, yeah. I will see you tonight, and I will see you in Basel.
See you in Basel. Ah!
He's so cute.
I have to say, Marco Bosnjak is, only in English in chat, please. Marco Bosnjak is such a lovely guy. And, you know, the thing is, pre-passes, we're talking about how different people react in different ways. I think he needed it probably more than anyone else. He needed it more than anyone else. And I love how I'm being all serious here. Meanwhile, in chat, they're saying poison cake.
Yeah, yeah. Also, like the baker needs the fake cake is kind of like, is that like a thing you say? Is that like a genuine tongue twister? Like you
yeah.
have in the British?
It's just this is the thing, and this is the thing. Sometimes you've got kind of got a pigeon brain in interviews, and it's funny. I'm watching these back, and I'm forgetting things that I asked because in the moment your brain's like,
Oh, I have the same. I have the same.
Yeah. Yeah, I have the exact same thing.
I didn't remember how much I fixated on that fake cake thing. Like I don't know why.
What I enjoy is
also-
the image
also,
of
I
you
love-
going, is it cake?
Yeah.
And watching
Yeah.
it being stressed.
Oh my God, James, we can do this in Basel and go. Is it Gabe?
Oh, and it's just me and Parg. Oh, for God's
Oh
sake!
yeah,
I
just
can't
bring
do
Pargo
Yes!
over. Perfect.
Yes!
We've done it. This is why we work together so well. Is the ideas they just bounce like this.
I should
just
not
can't-
have
they just
invited
happen.
either of you on here. In all seriousness,
Yes.
how are
We're
you
going
guys?
to no. We are going to the streets of Basel and we'll hold 2 pictures up, and the people of Basel
Corporate
will
wants you to
decide
find the
who
difference.
we want you to find the Gabe. Which of the 2 is Gabe? We are going to do this. We will do this. This will happen.
Apparently, it has to be called "Is It Garg?" Anyway, how do you guys feel about? I'm interested to hear what you guys feel about Marco's song and his performance, because to be honest, I'm starting to get like, I think, because something interesting happened at this pre-party, which is that he also sung "Molly's on Us," which is his previous entry to Dora. It's very different, and I was like, this is a lovely song. It's being sung really well, and it really suits his voice. And then he sings Poison Cake, and I think, this doesn't fit. Like, I'm just a little...
For me,
I want him to come back because this song, I don't think it's just the right song for him, it's
I
not
Very
fitting.
intense song.
Yeah.
I think the song, because there's not a lot of other very dark things in this here. That's why it stands out. But then the very cute, like twisted, kind of haunted, like kind of like childish melody in it, kind of then offsets that. This is one of my biggest question marks for this year in terms of this will all come down to staging.
For sure.
With the proper staging, this could find an audience.
But the other thing as well is when I interviewed Marco Bosnjak, I feel like it's worth bringing it up, is that he told me when he was at Dora and giving the performance there, obviously, like, there's a lot of people who criticize that live performance, but he was getting, like, steroid injections. And he told me this is all on record, just to keep his vocal cords going for Dora. So that was not a fully fit performance. Like you would think, therefore, that now he says he's had time to like get that healed up and get a bit better from whatever was affecting him at that time, that you're going to get better performances. I wasn't in London, but I watched it in Amsterdam, and I did think the vocal was a lot better. Mm-hmm. So I'm more hopeful for it than I was.
Well, this is the thing, is that I think the problem is not like Marco. I think Marco is great, and this is why I think he should. I think it would be great to see him come back again. I would love to get more of an insight into the process behind how this song came to be. I can't help but feel that there's maybe something that I'm just not sure. Right. Now,
Is it time for Gabri Ponte Pasa yet?
Yes, exactly. I'm getting to it, GJ. Wait your turn. I'm in charge here. In all seriousness, I was actually about to go to, because we did tease you about it. We're talking about odd gifts that delegations are giving out this year, and I think this one might take the cake.
The poison cake, the fake cake, the styrofoam cake.
Indeed.
What kind of cake is he taking?
All of
Is
the
it
cake,
cake?
an inedible one, because this pasta is inedible. GJ, would you like to show them the Tutta l'Italia pasta?
I would love to. So this is the Tutta l'Italia Italian pasta made in San Marino, and it says everywhere on this damn box, not edible, not edible, not edible. Also,
Hold that right up to the camera. We were like close. There we go.
Why are you looking at the bottom?
oh, Gabe, no! You were not supposed to say it out loud. Oh God, you've just created. Oh God, you've just
You
activated.
fell for the Gabri Ponte
You
trap.
fell
Dave.
for it. I've not opened it.
The Gabri Ponte bottom trap. I mean, it depends on what your interests are.
Listen, I'm opening this up as we speak because I have not opened this up.
You're
So I will
opening the
give you-
bottom up.
Honey, I did that last weekend. Trust and believe I did.
Okay, right. I you know what? I played with fire. I got burned. Just open the damn box.
Oh, damn it. So it does hold literally just butterfly pasta.
But it's not edible.
No,
It's not
but
edible. It's prop pasta.
It's literally just pasta in a box.
I want to grab one of those bits of pasta and show it off to the viewers. See, no, you got butterfly pasta. I didn't. I got conchigli in mine.
Oh,
there was different pasta.
So there are multiple Gabri Ponts.
There's multiple versions of this.
Oh,
There's gonna be like a collector's
people said I
thing.
shouldn't have opened it because now it's no longer a collector's item. But you know what?
True. But this is a perfect place to reveal. There's a part. So we're talking about these things. We're talking about Italians and press kits and all the rest. There is a part of the Angelina Mango Imagine lore which has been hidden until now. Is that it was preceded by the Italian delegation handing out press kits. So we have here the La Noia Angelina Mango.
Would you like me to open up the La Noia Angelina Mango box?
Yes, please. We would like to see inside.
Like you need an assistant there. There should be like a glamorous assistant. There's Marco.
By the way, this is a really cool press kit. Like,
This is really cool.
Oh yeah, budget. There was budget here.
So would you like to tell us what's inside?
What's inside is a Angelina Mango wooden yo-yo. Yes, a Angelina Mango wooden. I feel like a damn beauty blogger who's like holding up products with their hand behind it.
This is how I felt when I did the Bellamianta RTE gift bag reveal.
Yes, face ham. I remember.
That was a great day.
An Angelina Mango cassette tape. A Angelina Mango mystery red envelope, which holds Angelina Mango temporary stickers, tattoos. One of a bear, one of a rose, one of a goddess.
This is actually quite a good press kit.
And then Angelina Mango gummy bears and a QR code, which I guess will go to the digital press kit.
I don't think you should eat those gummy bears now. I think don't eat the gummy bears. Do not eat the gummy bears. Don't eat the gummy bears.
I'm not gonna eat them. I'm literally just opening them up to see if there's like an expiration date on them. But these are the Angelina Mango gummy bears. There you go. People go eat the
Angelina Mango.
Listen, they are like as hard as that damn fake pasta.
Oh, that's unpleasant. Someone says maybe if they put the budget to better staging, we could be in Rome right now.
Whoa. But yeah, so this is the infamous Angelina Mango press box.
So I hope you.
That's like win first, but people keep reminding me.
I did put it down as one of my potential winners last year. But yeah, so that is another hidden piece of Eurovision. It was hidden until now. We decided to share it with you. With that, we've got to keep going because we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have like 10 interviews still to get through. So
we don't have to see full interviews. Literally, just give us a question, a thing. Come on now.
But I want to. I want to do all the interviews. I'm going to the next interview. This is my stream now.
On game. Take charge.
You may be familiar with this man. This man is from Australia, and his name is Gojo. And he was really, really lovely, as was his press person. Really great delegation. And I am going to play this for you. Again, like, it's so strange for me watching this back. It's like having... It's just odd. I'm just going to play it.
This shot is going to be really funny because I am very small and Gojo
is very tall, like a tree.
Indeed, and we are here.
It rhymed. Tree and indeed, it rhymed. Sorry.
We're already on this like subconscious level that no one else is going to understand.
Yeah.
We're here at London Eurovision Party. We're in the most hectic room in the world. This is a lot of the Eurovision experience. Crazy rooms like this, everything's mad. You can barely keep track of what's going on. How are you finding it so far?
It's wonderful. It's incredibly exciting. Everywhere I look, I see a friend. Like, everyone's so close now, all the artists, which is so cool and fun. So yeah, it's great. I love this. I knew it was what I was signing up for, and meeting people like you, meeting all the other people. It's just great. It's so fun.
And I think that's actually something that's been really special this year, is that kind of community of artists, seeing all you guys doing the Instagram lives and so on. Obviously, every year the artists really get to know each other, but you seem to be particularly close this year. Do you think it's just, you're sort of like, well, wow, I found my people, I just click with these people in particular? Because it's really special for us to see.
Yeah, I feel like we're all like, we all get along. There's not a single person that I don't think anyone gets along with. Like, everyone's so supportive, everyone knows each other's songs, and like, you know, everyone's just having fun. And we talk about each other's countries. Everyone's always very intrigued by Australia and how scary it is, but it's not that scary.
Terrifying.
But yeah, it's awesome, and our group chats are so alive, and we're just talking all the time. It's great.
I did want to ask one more thing about specifically, because something that has really made this song bury its way into my brain. The production of it is so slick, so smooth. It's just so nice to listen to. And I was wondering, like, what was the process like with that? I mean, in general, with writing the song, with having the right people produce it, the right people build it for you, and how? And obviously, I mean, you're very happy with the results, but sort of, did that sort of build confidence for you in it becoming a Eurovision entry as you went along?
It was, so I actually wrote the song after Eurovision. After I was the selected candidate to represent Australia. And I went on a writing camp with Shepherd. Do you remember Shepherd?
Yes, I'm on my way, that song.
Yes, exactly. So I went on a writing camp with them, and that's when we wrote the song. So I wrote the song with Amy and George Shepherd and Jay Bavino as well, who also produced it. Me, George, and Jay. Jay did, he produced it, and then me and George, we also had a bit of hand in production as well. So, and then we wrote the song, and it was like a 2-day camp, and ended up writing 10 songs.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you, was it obvious, or were there multiple ones that you could have chosen?
There was a few in there, and there's a few that we're going to release post Eurovision as well, because they're all around the same vibe as well, and some really exciting ones. It was actually a toss-up between 2 songs, and then we went with Milkshake Man in the end.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing those songs after Eurovision. We look forward to seeing you on the Eurovision stage, and I'm sure in the grand final as well. Gojo, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us.
Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Such a lovely man. He's just such a lovely man.
Awesome.
Also, thanks to my years of looking at Where's Wally books, I know exactly where to find this man in the room immediately. I love the fact that he keeps wearing that jumper.
I had the Where's Wally thing as well. I was going to make a joke about it, but I decided not to on the basis that someone else probably would have beaten me to it.
Smart.
Which you probably did. I just think he's totally in his element at Eurovision. He is finding this process. He's just enjoying it, right? You know, his performance is great every time. He's got loads of charisma. He's just going around having his fun, and he's just having the best time. It's just great.
Him, it's like a big holiday. He's out here for 2 months.
Yeah, and he's been to, I think, almost every country, just going to meet up with their local contestants when they're there and just having a blast. And he seems like, I think the risk is when you have such a big personality and a big song, it can kind of, at a certain point, become grating if you're always that loud. But Gojo is a lovely team player. He loves supporting the rest of the artists. He loves just being the little goofball on the back. I think he went with Mariana Conte on Saturday to GAY in Heaven just to support, not out of anything else. And it's just, I love that about him. He is genuinely like a do-gooder, beep better kind of chill guy who's just literally having a time of his fun life, and just like, the song's great. He's got this hysterical energy about him. I love it. This is gonna do so well, and the moms are gonna eat it up. Oh,
and it went down so well in the room. I remember the first time I listened to this, I heard that when I say sweet sweet, you say yum yum, and I was like, is that gonna get chanted? And then I was in that room, and Gojo goes, when I say sweet sweet, you say yum yum, sweet sweet, and there was this sucker going yum yum.
Never underestimate what a British crowd with alcohol will chant.
I wasn't even drunk. He just won me over. He's just won me over at this point. I'm really into it.
He's lovely. And the live is good as well. Better than I actually expected it would be. So, again, that's a song like Norway that's pretty locked on for the final. The question is just how well it'll do.
Yeah. Next. Who's next, Gabe? Come on. Who's next?
right. Chat, I think you're going to enjoy this one.
Oh, they're going to enjoy this one. Gabe, can I share what it was like when you actually met them in person for the first time? Because I saw it.
Yes, you can.
So, what happens at LEP, everyone, is that there is like a door they come through, and Gabe and I were positioned quite close to that door. So Vibe came
We're
around.
positioned. No. Gabe picked that spot. I have a picture, which I will now show, of Gabe queuing up like it is a damn 5 a.m. exclusive JD Sports TK Maxx type of.
This is the picture I'm
sale.
thinking of.
Yes, it is
think
definitely
it
that
might be.
picture.
Hold it up close.
We bring it closer.
It is.
Oh, and it's just
With
me
his
and
Basel
Tim
bag.
Vision.
And he stood there for like an hour and a half, just like standing there. And Gabe was like this close to grabbing a Sharpie and handing out queue numbers, like what you do before like getting.
No,
going out
listen,
for
you
breakfast
gotta
today.
I wanna try and figure out where the best spot in this room is, and because I wanted to come on this stream, I was really worried, knowing I was going to do the stream. I'd come on and have like 3 interviews and be like, "Hey guys, so I spoke to Vasil." And no disrespect to Vasil. No disrespect to Vasil. I love Vasil, but if I came to you guys with only Vasil, I feel like everyone would be a bit like, eh? In all seriousness, James,
we want to
when
see
they
this.
come
Let's
in-
go.
No, hold on. Let
When
James
they,
finish his
when they
story.
came around the
James,
corner, when they came around the corner through the door, it was more. You would have thought, right, that it would be Gabe that would be more lit up. It was actually Vibe that were more lit up than anything when they saw you and Jay. So they came like running across, and you could see like the delegation people almost trying to keep up with them. Bear in mind, this is a really chaotic room as well. So there's people milling around everywhere. So they almost had to like form like a route through this crowd of people screaming, "Gabe, Editor Jay!" It was the most wholesome thing I've ever
And
seen.
we made a
I'm
very
just
big
laughing.
scene. Like the entire room was sort of staring at, sort of like. It was great. Anyway, I'm just gonna play. I haven't edited. I've included all the preamble and stuff. I've just left it all in because I figured you probably just want to see it.
Hello.
You can see my brain
Hello.
trying
Escape.
to go into gear because we've just
Escape
been running around the
gang.
place.
Hello.
I'm trying to
Escape gang,
remember how to
escape gang.
interview.
Let's go.
W
Vibe
chat.
gang. W Vibe gang.
W
escape gang.
Me unable
I've
to
been
use my
told I'm
hands.
not allowed to ask about Eurovision in this interview.
No. We don't want to talk about
This
Eurovision.
interview will be about Minecraft alone.
Yay! W.
As has been requested
Yes.
by Small Vibe
Yes, I love Minecraft.
and Big Vibe.
Yes, I also love Minecraft.
Yeah, we just want to talk about Minecraft all day.
Yes, this will be our favorite interview of the day.
Yes.
I think our episode that we did together with the Minecraft will be out by the time I put this interview
Yes,
out.
yes, I think so.
Hank just finished it.
Yes.
So we can have a little retrospective on what went well and what went badly in that
Yes,
episode.
what we can fix in later episodes.
And one thing I was thinking about was actually every time we died, we made a new boat, and when we were going over to the mines. But what that meant is, by the end of the episode, there was maybe 10 or 12 or 14 boats. That's very wasteful.
That's so,
Yes, that's
that's so much wood to waste.
Yes, exactly. When we could have recycled
Okay.
it, and we didn't do that.
Bro,
And I think we should publicly apologize now for
I'm
our failure to
so
live up.
sorry for using all the wood.
But we found diamonds instead.
Yes,
we found diamond.
we did find diamonds.
It was all Editor Jay's idea.
Yes.
To find
Yes.
diamonds.
No. To do
Yeah,
the
the
boat.
boat is Jay.
Yeah, it was Jay's. No, Jay made all those boats.
Yes,
He's
I
always
mean, this is the thing, because he was the one who kept dying every 30 seconds.
That's what I'm saying.
He's
No,
behind the
like-
camera. The great thing is he can't complain.
Yes, that's the best part, guys.
We can say whatever and he can say nothing.
But we love Editor Jay.
He's,
It's okay.
he's very nice. But I remember he died the most in the episode. I
Yes.
think.
He did.
And
It
me
was
and
a lot.
Gabe were the best in Minecraft.
You are pretty good at Minecraft.
Yes, we were both buddies.
There have been many years of practice that led up to that moment. Maybe a little too much. I used to sit in high school on my Xbox 360 with like the sci-fi mods on, like.
That makes sci-fi mod in Minecraft.
Yes, there
in the
was.
Xbox. What? Yes, I remember it. Bro,
What?
the practice has paid off.
Yes.
The practice paid
All
off
of it led up to this moment.
Yes.
to this epic
Minecraft
Minecraft
episode.
Now,
Yes.
if you could sum up your Eurovision experience in a metaphor that involves Minecraft in some way.
Okay.
You can take this in any direction you want.
Okay, first of all,
Okay, I would say first of all, spawn in world.
yeah, we spawned in the world.
And
The overworld is the national finals.
Yes.
And that was like, okay, it was kind of hard. There were a couple of zombies on the way.
yes, but we killed the
And
zombies.
creepers
Yes.
and lot of things like
going at us, trying to attack us, but anything. But we came through it. We got to the nether.
You died once first, though. You did die once first.
Yeah, we died when we started.
Then we got a respawn.
We got a respawn.
Yes.
Yeah, we
And
died.
you were more understanding. You knew the second time, like, okay.
Yes, don't mess with the creeper.
Yes.
Be careful of creeper behind you. So we went to nether when we made another portal. And we go to nether.
And now we're in the nether.
Now we're in the nether.
I would say Eurovision is like the nether dimension. It's like a lot harder.
Everything's on fire.
Everything is on fire. That's the most real part.
You can never relax.
No.
Oh my god.
You just look behind you. Yes, you gotta be on your toes, guys.
And there are flying guests.
Oh yeah, so many flying guests. And
that's in real life also.
You need to punch them with the sword. So it goes back to the guest and the guest.
Listen, after last year, I think artists, I think maybe we should not have any artists assaulting anyone at Eurovision this year. We had enough bad experiences with that last year. So maybe avoid punching, maybe just use a shield or something and block.
Yes.
Yes.
I think we should make a shield.
Yes.
We need to get more iron then.
Wait, who is... Okay, because we are so good friends with all the artists.
Who is in here now? I think I saw JJ somewhere. Clement's in here somewhere. You got Tautumeitas, who are very easy to spot from a distance.
Yes, I see them. They have some cool crown.
They also have a very good song.
Yes.
And also all of the collected Eurovision press. Maybe we are the zombies, and it's us you have to fight off.
No, we don't want to fight you.
No, we don't want to fight Gabe Zombie.
You are a good zombie. You're a zombie villager. We give you, golden apple and potion, and you turn into a competitor. Maybe next year you will compete in Eurovision.
Hey,
well,
guys.
That would be lovely. San Marino, watch out, we're coming.
Yes, please, let's go.
Or I'll learn Icelandic. I'll learn Icelandic and I'll enter.
We have a mission for you though. We have to talk to you later.
Oh dear.
Yes.
Yes, probably. I don't know what he's talking about, but we need to talk to you, bro.
Well, now I'm scared. However, I am going to have to release you into this room full of people.
Oh my god, I'm so scared.
So scared. So
Gabe, you have to watch over us.
It's fine. They're all very nice. They're all very lovely.
Oh, thank you.
But for now,
Yes.
make sure to watch episode 4 of Vibe Plays Minecraft.
Yes,
Oh my
and
god.
remember to subscribe.
And like and share. We're trying to reach 100,000 subscribers. We're already at 8K, guys. We have 1 month. Let's go.
Guys.
Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast.
There you go.
So
What a freeze frame that is.
That sums up how I felt about that interview, actually. Is that freeze frame.
Total ecstasy.
It feels like you are to them what the chicken jockey is to people watching the Minecraft movie. They just go absolutely bananas.
Well, I think the thing is it's been, like really fun. It all happened by total fluke. Like I commented on one of their videos, and then they replied to it being like, "Oh, we should like do something together." Then the live stream just kind of like, I put together that live stream basically in response. I was like, "Okay, let's do something. Let me build something." And then it's just sort of all spiraled out from there, and it's just been the most
Chaotic.
It's the most chaotic, but it's just so much fun. And we just, and that Minecraft video is live now on their channel. You should all go watch it. It's a lot of fun. And you can discover fun characters such as the Hat Man. And also we give Jay a funeral. And you'll have to find out whether we find diamonds. But you have to watch it.
Ooh.
You guys have also both interviewed Vibe now, haven't you?
Yes.
How did you find it? How did you find it?
Well, I immediately after you and Vibe had finished your interview, they literally stepped about five steps to their left, and then I was chatting to them. They are just as unhinged with everyone. I think it's just their energy is absolutely insane, and like. I remember we were saying before, you have to meet an artist at their level when you're interviewing them. Vibe is absolutely the perfect example of that, because I literally said to them, right, before we start, 1, I am Gabe's friend, so it's fine, you can be mad. And 2, I'm going to ask you one serious question, and then everything else is going to be nonsense. Mm-hmm. They were very up for that. And the result you can go and find on YouTube and stuff. They are crazy.
I just love these guys, and I think my interview with them was not. They were great. They were very enthusiastic. Like it was we do the official one for the broadcast. I did get them to I egged them on, and like at the end of it, something like their goal in life is within 5 years to open a pasta restaurant somewhere.
With Gabri
Watch out
Pont.
for that. Maybe.
Well, hopefully not, because then, don't
Could be inedible.
But what I want to bring up is this one of this year's acts that is benefiting from the pre-parties? Because it seems to be that I think everyone in every audience they've participated in has now gone, oh damn, that is a party song. That's one to jump to. That's way more fun than yep. I mean, after the show, the DJ played it once again, Gabe, and the internet was shaking.
Yeah,
like, that was like people were bouncing.
And I think
as an opener.
Sorry, go on, GJ. Finish your point. Sorry.
I just think that these guys are benefiting from bringing that energy on that stage, and everyone going, right, that is actually a really fun party song, and it keeps them in the conversation. So yeah, well done. Also, I don't think anyone needs to be reminded of this, but that cover version of Ya Ya Ding Dong slaps.
So good. And it's such a perfect way to, like, you want to get the audience on side as soon as you come out on stage. They came on stage and did Ya Ya Ding Dong. And it's okay, now everyone in this room loves you. Now you can literally do anything you want. I think the things with these guys is that the thing they've been really excellent at doing is exploiting social media and building this kind of like cult following. And I think they get like sort of they get social media in a way that most, like instinctively, that most artists don't, like to the same extent. They're just so good at it. And I think they've essentially, they keep playing themselves more into contention the more that they do, because they combine that with just being, they're just really likable. And so it just works. It just works. And yeah, they know exactly what they're doing. And this song, in my opinion, is like the chance of it going to the final keeps increasing. The more exposure they have, the more it sort of gets more likely. And I'm fairly sure they're just winging it. They're just doing what feels right.
Oh, exactly. And also Kaylee in the chat saying, they are the perfect opening act to Eurovision this year. And I do agree, like having them first in that first semi-final is just going to be like, right, energy's here. Let's go this year. This is where we're at.
So I'm just...
And if I could bring it on...
Sorry, go on.
Sorry. That's fine. If I could bring it onto actually the numbers, because you say that Vibe are getting closer. Obviously, with Model, Vibe are, and I know chat will still be annoyed about this, they're still 11th. But they have been getting closer and closer and closer with each one. And I feel like they're edging towards... Like, if there's one right now that's out that can be in, it's 100% this.
And it should be them. This is truly, Gabe, I love your Model so much, but this is the only one you're absolutely like wrong about.
James?
Whatever.
Yeah, you mean me.
At this point,
it's fine. Two British people, you know how it goes.
Fine. Anyhow, the Model is wrong on Vibe. Period.
No, I agree.
We'll see.
I agree. I think they're going to go through. I am going to move this forward because we still have we have loads of interviews still to get through, and I'm conscious it's 20 past 9 already, so we want to keep going. This next one was really, really fun with someone. If Mario is still in the chat, this guy on the left, by the way, is Justyna's interpreter, because her English is good, but like for quite complex answers, she prefers to go back to Polish so she can express herself properly. This one was really fun. She's great. I'll just play the interview in a second.
Gabe,
but if Mario is still here, you're going to enjoy this interview, Mario, because I brought up a song that you showed me. So I hope you're still in chat. Go ahead, GJ.
Does she mention her age at any point in this interview?
I think, I'm not sure. I asked her about like her training regimen because the performance is so demanding, but I didn't do it in the context of her age. So I'm not sure she did.
Because I interviewed her at Mankagan, which was, by the way, a lovely and amazing experience to be at Mankagan for their first ever Manchester edition. And she just kept bringing that up. That at a certain point, I was like, if I'm watching this at home, it becomes like a shot game of like how many times she can mention it herself. But yeah, Justyna's an icon.
I was a bit like, kind of like, I don't want to mention, like, I don't want to be rude, In any case, I will play the interview. She is really, there's a really funny moment right at the start of this, so I'm just going to play it. I'm here with Justyna Steczkowska from Poland.
Yes.
This is very exciting for me because I've known your music for some time, not just from Eurovision, but of projects like To, co jest ci dane and Terra.
Really? To, co jest ci dane? Oh
yes,
my God,
I love that song.
Because I really love this song.
It's a really beautiful song, but
I was thinking about this today, and I was like, you've had all these amazing projects, these incredible songs you've released, over the last 30 years since your last participation. What was it about Gaia and also Witcher last year that made you want to come back to the contest?
I like this contest because it's really so emotional and change every year. After 30 years, I'm more smart, I hope. I sing better. And, like all the artists, I need new emotion, new steps in my career and in my life. So, just like that.
I think one of the big talking points of this as well has been how active the staging is and how exhausting it is, right? Whether it's the breath control for the big notes, the upper body strength. How do you train for that? Because it's so much above what you'd usually expect to see.
Oh, I train every day. It's, music like that and the big shows that you must move and sing live. Not that you put playback and you move, because it's easy. But if you sing live, you must really be like a sportsman, yes? Like a sportsman.
Like an athlete. So, you need to prepare your body just like an athlete, just like you'd be doing sports.
Yes, it's like sports. You must do this every day.
And how do you motivate? Because everyone has, those days, you wake up, you're like, oh, I got to go for a run, I got to do strength, I got to... On the most difficult days, how do you motivate yourself?
Oh my God, this is a good question, because it's like you just said. I wake up morning, I have 3 children, and 2 of them are adult, yes. Leon has 25 and Stash 19, but Helena has 12. So she's a little girl, she needs attention from mother, so I do this every day. Go to school, to some places, to arrange some meetings with friends, and all the time in my head, okay, and I must come back and to gym, and I need all the time, I need motivation, but I look at szukam w sobie motywacji.
I'm looking for motivation in myself, self-motivation.
Yes, self-motivation, this is the best. Ale zdarzają się dni, kiedy naprawdę nic mi się nie chce, a pomimo wszystko idę, pracuję, ćwiczę, idę do pracy i wykonuję wszystkie te rzeczy, ponieważ wiem, że to przyniesie, że to jest krok po kroku, jesteś coraz lepszy.
Sometimes there are the days where I lack motivation completely, but then I know that I have to do those things to be happy, to keep going, and to just feel like, okay, I've done something, and not to let it go.
And it's one more thing. The voice like coloratura, which I have because the God gives me and I'm training. You have really, powiedz, że masz przestranne życie.
Well,
albo trudne.
With a voice like this, basically it's really hard for you as well because you need to really take care of it.
Yes,
so,
no alcohol, no drink, no cigarettes, no dramatic emotion, no stress too much, and more in your life it's no.
And I guess that's, because I think we'll be running a little short on time, so I guess this will be the last question. But thinking about the fact, as a mother, as a parent, your life is full of stress, right? Kids are unpredictable. It's amazing, it's a wonderful thing, but they're unpredictable. So I guess it's a really delicate balance between your family life and ensuring, your professional life to sort of, because one provides for the other.
But I'm 52 years old. I'm really happy because I have a life. I have no credit on my home, on my house, so I'm so happy. And what's more, I have 2 dogs, nice family. I love my children. It's absolutely. So I'm really happy. No stress because what's for?
I think that is the perfect place to conclude. Justyna, thank you so much for talking to us. Cześć. And we look forward to seeing your performance on the stage tonight and, of course, in Basel.
Oh, thank you very much. And I'm so happy that you know my music. It's really like... Tozzo is Cidane and Terra. My God, it's really like unique.
The songs I found really powerful and very very mysterious as well, which I really love.
So if you don't know Maria Magdalena, the CD, you can find everywhere. It's really beautiful. And on internet, on YouTube, it's Eastern concert.
There's a whole gig in the forest. She's done at night. So you can watch the whole concert for Maria Magdalena in the forest.
Yeah, it's live. It's really beautiful.
I'll definitely
so if you find time,
yeah.
it will be a pleasure.
Can I just grab the microphone? It
Thank you very much.
There we go.
Thank you.
That's such an insight into how interviews end.
Yeah.
Like,
she's just amazing.
That was... Gabe says pronounced Steczkowska. Steczkowska. But yeah, no, she was lovely. She's really funny as well. Like, when she was like, look, I've got my dogs, I've got my kids, my mortgage is paid, like...
I'm good.
Yeah,
but
like,
she keeps it real.
So relaxed. She's so calm.
Like, and you have to understand, and like, I'm not gonna like constantly name drop that I was at Mankagan, but the thing is, they have such a huge Polish diaspora there. When she came on stage to do those 4 songs, like, it was like people crying, fainting, everything, because they saw their Polish idol live. So it's very easy for her to like be this like, listen, I'm the biggest thief of Poland. I've already done everything. You should be grateful I'm back. No, she's self-referential. She's funny. She's also not making too much fun of herself. I love this woman so much. And honestly, having now seen her do that spin in the second chorus live, what a woman. What a woman.
Well, I've seen you try it, okay, and based on that, I can see just how hard it is.
She's now made me commit to having to try it every day, and then I have to prove to her in Basel that I can do it.
That's
the power of
the Justyna training diet is wow.
Yeah.
But no, the thing is, it's like, I think as well, with someone like her, with her level of experience and stuff, this kind of thing, she's totally unfazed. So it's like, this is probably, in terms of artists who are finding this easiest, I'd say she's pretty high up there. But as well, it's really nice when you go into an interview, and like when I spoke about those songs initially, and I'm really glad that Mario, who introduced me to those songs I mentioned, is in chat. You know, the way her eyes just lit up, and I think it totally changes the course of the interview, because you build that connection. Obviously, it was so funny when she was like, "Let me kiss you," and I was like, after that, it just, everyone relaxes, and it makes it so much easier to like talk about this stuff. And I think her song is great as well. Let's keep going.
She's another one that I think that has been changing the crowds, in terms of crowds gone, well, that was a bit much at the national final, wasn't it? But once you see that live, I think I heard it from people on the floor at LEP going, okay, I get it now.
Mm-hmm. Like,
yeah, it's
she's
crazy,
an incredible singer. An incredible singer.
Who's next?
Yes, next is now. I don't know if you guys know, but everyone on my Discord server and in chat insists on calling Red Sebastian's song Gobe Lights.
Gobe Lights.
No, don't encourage them. We've been over this. Don't encourage them. They're bad enough as it is.
And do you know that a gobo is actually can be a strobe light? Because a gobo is like one of those moving headlights that you see on stages that goes all around, and they can actually strobe as well. So a gobo
so it's technically accurate.
Okay,
yeah,
so this is a like actually accurate shitpost. Well done, everyone.
So we are now christening you ESC Gobo. Yes.
Oh no! Another chat is just. I shouldn't have said it, because now everyone's just like Gobe. Like, I'm just gonna play the interview. We're back. That's Loco Boombox. Sorry, that was really good timing. I should say Levi Mayfly tipped $6.90. And Grackle of Weltschmerz tipped $4.20. I can't help but think those things are linked, but I'm very, very grateful. Thank you both so much. Let's keep moving forward. With Red Sebastian from Belgium in what is the most hectic press room in the world, and what I imagine has been the most hectic month in the world.
Yes. I did like Amsterdam last week, and it was very hectic there. It's hectic here, but I'm living for it. I mean, it's my dream, and I'm all here for it. It's lovely to talk to you.
Yeah, it is fantastic to see you here too. And actually, a friend of mine who's from Belgium has been going on non-stop since you won Eurosong, because of how Belgian your song is, right? It represents, when people go, oh, I think of music from this place, people might go, oh, that classical composer or whatever. But when it comes to things like Tomorrowland and so on, this is such an authentically Belgian sound. Were there what kind of influences around you growing up did help shape your music? And was it going to festivals and things like that where you saw it on the big stage and thought, I want to do that?
I've always been in love with the big voices, like a Christina Aguilera, a Whitney Houston, a Mariah Carey, big vocals. But at the same time, I was really into dance music too. And we have a broad history in dance music in Belgium. We have Milk Inc., Lasgo, we have Silver, Kate Ryan, who also been to Eurovision in 2006, I think, with Je t'adore. And, it's a lot of, dance music, and I wanted to do something very traditionally Belgian. And I always went to festivals, I always went to rave, and I thought, what better choice of music to, the music where I'm having fun too. I wanted to create something very close to me. And, I try to, in the musical theme of it all, put in the rave and the dance culture, but also even at the same time put in those big vocals, those big diva vocals in it. So I try to make a combination of it, and I'm really proud of what it's become. Yeah,
and it's a grower as well. It's a song that the more you listen to it, the more it sticks in your head, and then the more you listen to it, so it's this kind of positive cycle that keeps going. I did want to ask about that falsetto vocal, because it's something that is rare enough as it is, but even more difficult to hone and to perfect. Is that something that you sort of studied for a long time, or is it something that you always just naturally had and wanted to express?
I started singing at a very early age, and when I was younger, the child's voice, it's really easy to go very high up. I was always singing Whitney and Christina, as I said earlier, but then my voice lowered, and I was like, oh fuck, I gotta manage this technique all over again. And I studied a lot. I went to the conservatory where Gustav was my teacher for 5 years. So I really, I studied a lot, and every day I'm still learning. I'm still doing vocal classes every week, even more now for Eurovision. So I'm still managing, that to make it perfect. I think Celine Dion is always on the road with a vocal coach, even now, and she's one of the best vocalists. I think you can still improve your singing every day. So it's important to keep on practicing and to keep on learning.
And I'm glad you mentioned Gustav, because my next question was actually going to be about, because obviously he's seen everything. He has answered questions in this exact room. He's performed on that stage through there. He's done the contest. What things has he, a piece of advice or heads up, watch out for when this happens, has he given you?
Well, the first thing he said to me was, try to enjoy it. Try to, be present in the moment and try to enjoy it. And, that's some good advice, because now, everything's happening so quick, so fast. I try to be in the moment, but it's hard. Everything is moving so fast. But he told me some technical stuff. He's like, you got a whole team with you. You don't, look to other things than just your singing and your sound in your ears and your act. Do that, and the cameras, the sound in the room, people are gonna be there for that. So he's like, just focus on yourself. Try to do that, and then everything's gonna be okay. Yeah.
One last question. What is one thing that you have either already taken or want to take from your Eurovision experience? One thing you want to learn, one thing you want to achieve, anything?
Well, I think I kind of already did by, being the representative of Belgium. And, but I would like to connect with a lot of people all around the world through my music. I hope, Strobe Lights is that song where, I hope people can't sit still and will just will have to rave, have the urge to dance, and if people are having a worry time or more sad period in their life, I hope Strobe Lights provide those 3 minutes of joy and put their worries away for that moment. And I hope to connect with them and to, have a special connection, and maybe, after Eurovision, tour through Europe and the other parts of the world, and see the world with my music and connect with, everyone. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Well, hopefully you can see as this process moves along that step by step, that is coming true. Thank you so much.
Thank
for taking
you.
the time to speak to us, and we really look forward to seeing your performance tonight.
Thank you for the lovely interview, and make sure to rave with me tonight, right?
Yes, we will be there no matter what.
Cool.
First comment from me. This man is about 3 ketchup packets tall. Like,
oh, so adorable.
Honest, for some reason, his performance makes him seem like really tall and imposing, but he's so tiny.
That's why he has the rafters and the whole lift and everything.
Well, quite. And I think, it's really nice. You do get some Eurovision participants, they fall into the contest, or it's an opportunity that comes at the right time, or whatever. Some Eurovision participants, you can tell they really love the contest. And Red Sebastian is one of those. You can feel his enthusiasm. And that's what makes him so, sort of part of what makes him so likable. He's clearly just enjoying it so much. And he's like, I have dreamed of doing all of these things for so long, and now I get to do them all. Someone says we're the same height, or that he's taller than me. He's not taller than me. No, that's
yes, he is. You can literally see the shot what's happening.
It's not. It's the wrong angle. He's not taller than me.
I am looking.
And he was not VAR proof. He was not wearing heels. So Gabe, does that confirm you are also 3 packets of ketchup high? Or
no,
it
does not.
Or are you 3 packets of mayo?
No, I hate mayonnaise, so I prefer ketchup if I have to choose.
You hate mayonnaise? What kind of human are you?
Mayonnaise is gross. Mayonnaise is gross. We're so far off course now. But no,
I don't give a damn. No, this is important.
Mayonnaise.
No, mayonnaise is it's weird and it's just
It's such a Dutch thing to be like mayonnaise over ketchup. If you were British like we are, it would be ketchup all the way here. I
love both. It's fine. I love both. But you can't hate mayo. Like, what is wrong with you, Gabe?
Well, to be fair, I don't like ketchup.
I don't hate
either.
mayo. What?
No, I mean it's fine, but
Okay, so what is the condiment of choice for Gabe?
What is the? Oh God, everyone's gonna cancel me for this.
It's gonna be mustard.
No, I usually I usually avoid condiments altogether. I have things without.
What do you mean you avoid condiments?
As Anthology says in the chat, Gabe doesn't have the sauce. Gabe doesn't have the sauce.
There's no sauce in this room.
I just don't do condiments, okay? Someone says I take it dry. Yes, I do.
Gabe, what is just... Gabe, do you enjoy things in life?
Yes. Very much.
But why do you not have condiments with fries? I could just, oh my God.
Because the fries because when you're eating like a burger and a fries, the burger and the fries already balance each other's taste perfectly. If your mouth's dry, if you're dehydrated, whatever, you have a drink. So you drink the drink.
Can you imagine if we go out to a restaurant with him and they bring out like something with ketchup or mayonnaise on, and then he just goes, "Excuse me, waiter, there's a condiment on this."
No, because I would have already requested they take it off. I have no shame about this whatsoever.
There is no way. No one has ever done that. That's
Frock
never
says,
happened.
centuries of colonialism just for the Brit to not use condiments. Well, you've got to remember that the dominant food traditions that my family is drawing on is Irish and Ashkenazi Jewish. Now, with respect to my ancestors on both sides, we're not exactly known for our culinary prowess, are we?
See, I like this one better. Gabe likes his fruit drier than a nun.
Oh, that one.
Right. I can't believe such a wholesome man as Sebastian has led to a conversation about nuns and condiments, but it's fine.
Red Sebastian.
Anyhow,
I'm very. If you see this, I'm sorry, but still, as we were saying, I think as everyone could see in chat, he's a really nice guy, and this was a really fun interview. Like, I really enjoy speaking to him. Again, some artists just make it really easy. We're going to move on. I'm going to prioritize my interviews with... We have 2 more interviews that I have with 2025 artists, which is Catharsis and Emmy. We're going to finish with Emmy, because that one was nice and lighthearted. So next we're going to do Catharsis. And these guys, poor them, they'd been up since like 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. They'd flown from Lithuania that morning. And so this one, I actually made a bit shorter because I was like, these guys are really tired. Like, let's not go... I don't want to take up too much of the time. So we'll do that now. So here is... I mean, you can literally see. They are tired. I'm I will play the video.
We are here with Catharsis from Lithuania, joining us here at London Eurovision party. It's been a pretty hectic experience so far. I heard you guys had an early flight this morning as well to get here, which kind of sums up the Eurovision experience. Lots of hectic travel, things to do, constant, promo, perform the song, go to another city. How are you guys finding that so far?
Finding it exciting. Maybe the only thing that we don't like is the lack of sleep.
I think this is something that we all experience. I regret to inform you, it kind of gets worse when we're actually in Basel, because nice. Then it's just, we're all going around the place. Yeah. Now, your song is a style that I've really wanted to see in Eurovision for a while. It's kind of post-punk kind of music. And I think it could really connect on a wide level. But I wanted to explore if you could maybe tell us a little more of the motivations behind the song. Like, is there something you're trying to tell us, or like different messages you're trying to provide?
I think we're trying to provide a song or the environment for the listener to create his own meaning and become one with the song, feel the emotion that the song spreads.
And looking forward to, you had the staging at the national final, dressed in grey with the sort of desolate backdrop. Are you planning to do something similar at the contest? Are you going to develop that concept, or is it something new entirely?
Yeah, we're trying to keep the same theme because people chose us for that. So we're trying to upgrade it, but keep the same vibe, keep the same feeling. Yeah.
And so, in the long run, obviously, Eurovision is for now, for the next month and a half. What is the long-term plan? What are you trying to take from this experience, and what can we expect to see from you in the future as well?
I think we're just trying to have a good time now, just trying to work hard and represent our country the best that we can. After this, I think we will continue doing concerts, we will continue releasing new music. Maybe we'll see what happens in Eurovision. Maybe we'll do some touring in Europe.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, that would be, yeah.
We'd love to have you back. For now, there is a room full of people who will be very excited to talk to you all. We're looking forward to seeing you in Basel. I'm very optimistic. I think we could be seeing you right near the top, actually, and you're one of my favourites, so it's a real pleasure to talk to you all. For now, we look forward to seeing your performance tonight.
Thank you.
Sorry, my microphone was muted. With this one, I would love to interview these guys in like a nice, quiet, relaxed space. I think, because they're quite introverted people, aren't they? And like they're very calm, and they're engaging, and they want to, and they're sort of living at every element of this experience. I think this kind of room doesn't suit itself well to introverts, and it doesn't suit itself well to being sleep deprived and having to get a flight at 3 o'clock in the morning.
No, I had the same with Red Sebastian actually the week before, who we did about a 15-minute sit down, and you could just tell that there's also room to breathe, to think about an answer, because what you don't understand is that there's probably someone behind Jay, who's doing the camera, waving at Gabe, going, right, final question, and now, next. So that also makes the artist feel like, oh my God, I have to deliver an answer quick because I don't want to waste any interview time to get my story out. So that happens with certain artists. Also, these guys in Amsterdam blew me away. That lighting package that Amsterdam and Eurovision in concert gave them there, where it was a bit more dynamic with the lighting. I remember saying it to you, James, was like, oh, that's what this needed to really convey the...
It gave it that oof it was needing. Yeah. I really want to pick up on what you said, Kay, actually, because it's such an intensive environment in the room. Like, whenever people maybe say, oh, could this interview have been better? I think what people maybe don't see is the amount of sort of stress in the room, because it's so packed. I mean, like, Gabe, you and I were maybe like 3 feet away from each other the whole time, and we're trying to like negotiate with delegations and with press people and trying
And
to
we
get
had a lot of
interviews
space,
in.
relatively speaking. We had more space than most people
Yeah,
did.
compared to other people, we were pretty spaced out. I mean, there's just so
Listen, I
many
don't even
people in
get
the
to
room.
talk.
Yeah, I think, the other thing is that one moment I really wish had been captured is that Emilia in the middle there, she was also, as I spoke about on stream, I was at Tallinn Music Week and Emilia was there too. So I wish I'd asked about it in the interview because we had a really nice, quick 1 minute conversation about our favorites at Tallinn Music Week, which isn't in this. And that was my favorite sort of bit of this interaction. So I would have loved for you guys to see that. I would love to, I'd love to speak to them again in a quiet environment in Basel. You want to sit on a sofa and relax and be like, okay, there is not 15 million things happening here. In any case, to be honest, given that not all artists came to this press room, I appreciated the fact they came because, when you're that exhausted, if I was that exhausted, I don't know whether I'd want to go to a room like that. In any case, we're going to move on to someone who always has energy. Always, always, always. Which is Emmy.
Who literally went out on Friday night just to see the fans and see Hera Björk perform at Mankhagen and then performed on Saturday. So we got Witchwoods as well there, which I really loved, which I think she also did on Sunday, right?
She did that in London too.
And it's just so lovely. And she is just, she's, again, one of those that is just soaking up every minute of this because she's loving it.
And she's sort of, I actually, there's, I have to say, I find Emmy really endearing, actually. She's so enthusiastic. Every time I speak to her, I just find it really infectious.
And look, you're actually taller than her, unlike Red Sebastian.
Oh my God. Literally, I can't do this. I'm changing the subject now, just in protest. I should have said earlier, thanks to Simon, who subscribed over on Twitch. Thank you to Ollie Not Pro and also Dylan the Baller earlier, who renewed their YouTube memberships. Don't forget, you can support the channel financially through YouTube, through Twitch, and through making direct donations if you so wish. Let's watch this interview. It takes some turns to some places you wouldn't expect, by which I mean football.
Here with the woman who has written the catchiest song in Eurovision 2025, and that is Emmy. All I hear, I wake up and I hear bum bum ba-da-dum bum bum bum. I go to work, I go to sleep. It's still there. Was it your intention to produce something that was quite this catchy when you guys set out?
No, well, not really, because the main thing was the story, and I wanted to get my emotions out because it's so, it's a very sad story. So I wanted to create a scenario where she gets to be happy and where I can imagine her happy and alive. So that was the main goal. And then thank you for calling it catchy. And then that just, I sent it to my brother because I actually had kind of a ballady vibe on it, and then he made it more of a party vibe, so it kind of just developed to, so but thank you for calling it catchy. Thank you.
It is, and I mean, I think that was a large part of what made the difference at the selection, because you could hear at the time, the panel, my brother lives in Ireland, he texted me and he was like, I like the Norwegian with the dog song. So it clearly really connected. I did want to touch on one of your other passions, which is Norwich City.
Yes!
How did that happen?
Well, so...
This is important. This is the most important thing.
So, our dad, when he was a little kid, he was a Tottenham fan, and then his favorite player went to Norwich. And so we grew up with watching games, and it's always been Norwich.
And it's an emotional roller coaster being a Norwich fan. A lot of promotions, a lot of relegations.
Yeah.
In the next few years, because on one hand, getting promoted to the Premier League is great.
Yeah.
Would you want Norwich to get promoted again just to get relegated straight away? Or do you like that kind of, we get to play in the Premier League every few seasons? We're now miles away from Eurovision.
I mean, it is really cool when they play in the Premier League. So, and it's also cool to have that record, of being the one that has gone up and down the most. So, yeah, I guess I would like them to go up and down if that's the alternative.
Yeah. One more thing, I've been seeing on my Instagram feed all these really lovely videos of you with Visit Ireland going around, essentially getting an Irish crash course.
Yeah.
What has been your favourite Irish thing that you've done so far?
Oh.
Oh?
Oh?
Well, why has it done that? Hello?
Oh no, your browser's crashing.
Oh, she's back.
choose?
You can pick more than one.
Yeah.
You're allowed more than one. You can have 3 if you like.
Thank you. Okay, so first of all, the people, like Irish people, are so kind. I just love them so much. And then I went to Dingle.
Dingle.
Yeah, that was such a beautiful place. So I would really recommend that place, like for a holiday, and it's so beautiful. And then spice bag, eating a spice bag. That's so cool too. I love Ireland
To be
so
clear,
much.
a spice bag
And
is like
I think
food,
Ireland
not
is good,
drugs.
and I'm sure Ireland loves you right back, and will love you even more if we see you in that final. And we are looking forward to that, and I'm quite excited. I'm optimistic at the moment.
Oh, that means a lot to hear.
Yes, no, I did a video about this literally yesterday, and I was like, she's in. So, I move forward with optimism that we are going to see Ireland in the grand final in May. Emmy, we're really looking forward to seeing you in Basel. I'm sure we'll get another chance to speak there. And I wish much success and many shots of baby Guinness in both of your futures.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for believing in us. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
So, I find myself totally unable to not root for her. Like, I am rooting for her so much.
Oh, that's so sweet of you.
Someone asked, does the guy speak off camera? Yes, he does. He's like really lovely,
Yes.
really friendly guy. Yeah, we bonded over the fact that we drunk rather a lot together at the Eurosong after party in February.
Best way to do it.
Yeah. Like I said, I still think this has a really serious chance of qualifying. Thank you, Trevina Denny, who has just renewed their YouTube membership and asks for a poll of some description. So I'm going to
Source poll.
Source poll. No, we already did source. I got to do something else. I'm gonna
already
ask
done
people what they prefer: dingle or spice bags. And in the meantime, one of you, I don't mind too, give some opinions about Emmy and her song and how she's handling this experience.
Do you want to start?
James.
Okay. All right, fine. I'll start. I think Emmy is starting to get more comfortable, actually. I had a conversation with her at Melfest weekends, obviously back when Melody Festival was on a month ago. And I think the difference between how she was interacting with media then and how she's interacting with media now is actually quite noticeable. I think she's starting to relax into it. Initially, maybe, I think it's very, very easy for Eurovision to be such a big thing for artists that it can be a bit overwhelming. I think she's a lot more comfortable with it now, and because she's seeing there's a lot of love for the performance, and like you're saying, Gabe, like it's really catchy and it's very, very easy to hook onto. So it's starting to look good for Ireland, I would honestly say. I think their chances of going to the final are growing, actually.
And also shout out to the homo parody dancers who supported her on Saturday at Mankagan and then came along and did the same performance on Sunday. I know some people were like, why are these men like dressed in shirtless like stuff? It's space. It's fun. It's a pre-party performance. Not everything has to be a damn ass concept. No, Gabe's muted again.
Exactly.
Oh,
Things
God.
can just be fun. Like, this is my general opinion of this song. You can just take something as what it is. It's just, it's fun. And I think it's a really good point you made, James, about her relaxing into it as well. Which is that I think over time, I think a lot of her doing well at Eurovision depends on how much she's able to sort of find calm. Because, the more you relax, the more you're enjoying yourself, the more charismatic you'll seem, the more the performance will really stand out. And it feels like we're moving in the right direction. There'll be more about this in my tier list video. I did actually bring this point up as well, because I want to have time for the model. What I'm going to do is I'm going to skip. I think I do want to say thank you to Vasil. I will share that interview in my Discord server so that you can all see it if you like. But what I am going to quickly do is let's talk about Erica. Let's talk about Miriana. So an interview from one of you guys each. And then let's go to the model and to Dolphin Dane's model as well. And we'll wrap up in about 15 minutes.
Do we maybe want to just being bold here and trying to not take control, but do we maybe want to skip those interviews and just like go around and think who has benefited the most from the pre-parties and whether all the big contenders are doing well?
Okay, I mean we can do. It's just because I wanted to. It's up to you guys because they're your interviews, and I did want to highlight.
Yeah.
But if you guys are happy to move past that, we can move past that.
Maybe it's your stream, not mine.
Okay, well that gives us a little bit more flexibility on timings.
Love.
People saying Sissal, we need Sissal. I'm really sorry I didn't interview Sissal. I didn't see her in the press room.
She didn't come into the room.
She was there,
She didn't
but I
come
must have
in.
been. No, I think she was there briefly. Was she?
I didn't see her as well.
I didn't see her.
Okay, maybe she didn't come into the press room in London then.
I think she did the other press room because there's a second press room where there's a couple of big national and international UK media there. She did that one, so maybe it was just also timing. Some people are still sound checking on Sunday. People also want to prioritize their health. Some people have to be back at a certain time and still have to have dinner beforehand. So it's not an obligation to do press, and it's that.
Exactly.
But also in return, we got Sissal, JJ, Marco Bosnjak, and Gojo bouncing on sports balls at the end of Mariana's performance.
The moment of LEP.
Yeah, and I think that's actually a perfect thing to say. I have two acts I want to mention in terms of who I think have gained a lot of momentum from pre-party season. Firstly, I think is Mariana, whose social media team are just geniuses. Like, I'm sorry, they turn every moment into an opportunity. Every single one. They have not missed a beat in like 2 months. Like, Mariana was in the press room. I was going to ask her about this. My whole lead into the interview was going to be like, how much of this is deliberate and how much of this is like you taking advantage of the opportunities as they come? Because it's just so well done. She keeps being in the news.
So natural.
It does.
Also, shout out to Mariana because in Amsterdam, of course, she added Europapa to it and wore, something, a Dutch design. And then she comes on, and then she
the stroopwafel.
And then she comes on stage in London with the Spice Girls wearing the Union Jack. Shout out to Tia Coffee, by the way, who's worn a very similar design like that. And just absolutely smashed it. And then, of course, last time in Amsterdam, everyone went absolutely buck wild as soon as the stage manager even brought on the bouncing ball. And now 4 fellow artists come out to do it with her. It's just, it's so much fun. I do wonder if the bouncing ball, therefore, will not make it to Basel.
It has to. Come on, it has to.
I think
it's now like such a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that may be why. If you keep doing it now, there's a reason not to do. I don't know.
No, I think most people won't have seen it though. Like, it's still kind of. I mean, it's got out a little bit, but that element isn't what people are focusing on outside of the bubble. They're focusing on the title's so scary and outrageous.
Oh yeah.
Words are very dangerous and scary, as we've discovered.
Oh God.
If they're spoken by a woman, that is.
The puns the host had with it. Also, the joy we had with it when Marmalade from Drag Race UK did it on Saturday in Manchester. It's just, but also she's delivering it vocally and she's not letting it overshine the fact that she's like absolutely like a rock star on that stage.
And I want to say, the vocals being that good is the reason that this song is not being considered gimmicky. It's because she can really, really sing. Like, she's got chops. So
Agreed.
That's what keeps that from straying into like people thinking it's a joke entry. No, this is a serious entry by a serious artist who knows exactly what she wants to achieve, who knows exactly how she's approaching this. And yeah, you can feel that when Mariana goes on at a pre-party, there is an energy that you don't get from others. There's just something electric about those performances.
I also wanted to highlight one more artist here, and that actually was one I had a question mark before about. One of the things I really wanted to see, is that Adonis dance break going to work? Because it's a brave song to put a dance break in. And I saw it at these pre-parties, and now I'm like, I'm satisfied. This is working. Like, it works as a package. There's a reason why his odds have been creeping back in the right direction over the last week or two. It was really, really brave. Sometimes you do something really brave and it ends up working out. I think it's worked out. And I'd be really curious to hear what you both think.
Oh,
I 100% agree.
Listen, Adonis is creeping out of Dark Horse territory into just should be contender. The dance break's working, the fashion's working. I think the vocals are working. There's a vision there. And actually after the dance break, the dancers actually really enhance the storytelling of what's happening after that. I think it's just one of those where we're just gonna see something happen, and it's gonna be bubbling up even more. And it's really fun. Just to give it a small plug, I think tomorrow our long form interview with Adonis is going out, where we sat down for over 45 minutes with him in our podcast studio.
And it's a proper studio. This is actually really cool. Like the production is really high production, like proper studio and everything. It's the kind of thing, like when I saw you were in that studio, I was like, things just got serious. So I can't wait to see that. I'm going to let you guys add an artist each who you think has really excelled out this pre-party season, and then we're going to take a quick look at those models to finish up. So
James?
I'm going to go to, James first. Off you go.
Off the top of my head, I think the person that we haven't really spoken about this evening that's been doing really well is Erika Wigman.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a surprise because we all absolutely love Ich Komme anyway. I mean, I'm a massive fan of it. Gabe, you're a massive fan of it. So that was not a surprise. But yeah, the energy in the room for that is fantastic, especially on that last minute where it builds to the climax in more ways than one.
And she's proving not only that she does it vocally, but also that what I saw sometimes people say in the previous month is like, does that dancing enhance her like stage presence? Nope. She did it like in London. I was on the balcony. She held that stage for 3 minutes, and all you could watch is Erika. Also, she's having a blast with it. I love it. The one that I would add, and it may not be a surprise in this sense, is Kai. The fact that the songs clearly have been catching on. Also, in the UK and in the Netherlands, they did 3 songs on Saturday at Mankagan. The crowd did start moving to 2 other songs, which are not in an English language. In that sense, so they're having fun with it. They're clearly also enjoying it. They're having a blast. Fun fact: they nearly would have gone into London's pre-party with a huge delay, or maybe not even, and would have been stuck on Stoke-on-Trent. And I may have had something to do with saving that.
You need to explain this story about how they almost got stuck in, how Kai almost got stuck.
I don't want to. Should we just? No, I'll tell the story. So what happens is, we were on the same train as them because I was DJing in Mankagan, but also doing the yellow carpet, which I hosted with Banksy from Drag Race UK, which is a lot of fun. But what happened is, they got a little bit confused over the fact that you can buy train tickets in the UK that. For example, that we were going from Manchester to London, but you can also buy the tickets in 2 separate stacks because sometimes the seats aren't available.
This is an oddity of the British train system, where essentially sometimes if you buy, instead of buying 1 ticket from A to B, you buy 2 tickets where one stops and the next one starts at one of the intermediate stations. It can sometimes, the way they calculate the prices, make it cheaper. So that is what they had done, presumably.
I don't know if they don't know who organized whatever. So Kai and team got a little bit confused about, do we have to get up at Stoke-on-Trent because you have a 1 minute transfer time onto another train because the seats are different. End of story. Helped them. Asked someone of staff. They didn't get off. They got into the London in time. But they were just like the fact that songs. I think this was kind of their litmus test because clearly due to a sold out finished tour, they weren't able to join any of the other pre-parties yet. And the crowd's really singing it. So even the whole it's just an internet kind of hype, the actual Eurovision fans don't really care about it. I don't think that's happening. I think they're buzzing really, really well. Mm-hmm. Who are you adding, Gabe? Like your final little, you were there in the room. Who will you add?
Can't believe I'm saying this, but I thought Remember Monday sounded great.
Amazing.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I thought Remember Monday sounded great. And I think I'm sort of feeling a bit like I felt. I've called them Yeehaw Ogene in the past. I'm actually feeling a bit like Ogene, where I went to Eurovision 2017 and I wasn't a big fan of Ogene's song. And I saw it live and I was like, wow, these are some really nice voices to listen to. And that could massively enhance their performance. And so that's exciting for me. And also it's good because genuinely I like being proved wrong about people who seem nice, and also by British entries, it's nice to be surprised. You know, if we end up doing really well, I'd really love to hold my hands up at the end of the season and say, hey, I was wrong about this. And that possibility is starting to increase, in my opinion.
Listen, I love this energy. I love their styling. I love their vocals. I love their stage presence and the little bit of choreo that they debuted at LEP, which I think works really well for them because it doesn't feel too contrived of a choreo for a song that maybe, doesn't naturally would feel like something that need choreo. So it's more like movement, I think, and stuff like that, and staging. The deal with that song is that I wish this would break through another 30 seconds over the 3-minute mark to really have them build that momentum for that final minute in. Because the song stops after each chorus and then restarts, it kind of hinders them a little bit to fully put the pedal to the metal for that final minute. But who knows? Maybe they've changed that up, and we'll see a different revamp of the song in Basel. I mean, the BBC.
Can I just say as well, because I'm the one of the three of us who has actually interviewed Remember Monday out of the three of us. They are absolutely lovely in real life, Lauren, Holly-Ann, and Charlotte. They're really, really great. And also the amount of promotion they've been doing. They've been around in like Denmark and Iceland and Norway over the past week. Like, they're really, really giving this like maximum effort. And I think that's really nice to see from the BBC, because years and years ago, we would not be doing anything like that. So actually, I think the signs are really positive for it. I think we are trending upwards. There's like hope creeping in.
Yep.
Speaking of trending upwards and downwards, it's time to look at our final part of this evening's stream, which is our regular feature. We're going to be looking at the model, the Eurovision model, which is, of course, developed by our dear friend here, James, and Dolphin Dane's model over at ESC Insight. And they're telling us slightly different things, so I think it'd be interesting to not directly compare them, because they use different methodologies. And for that reason, they're not comparable as such, but they're both interesting thought experiments into sort of laying out, here's a potential scenario. I did speak to Dolphin Dane this week, so I'm going to explain a little bit more about how their model works. And then, James, while I show what your model is predicting, it would be great if you could explain a little more about how it works. So
I'll do whatever you want.
So Dolphin Dane, what Dolphin Dane did was collect fans' predictions and of how well people think that each song will do in the televote and the juries. Use that as a baseline, but of course we know that everything doesn't necessarily go as fans predict, and that's where doing thousands of simulations comes in. And the simulations give entries values that are either slightly higher or lower than the actual averages, and these are based on standard deviations. Lots of maths. Where there's more conflicting values, it creates wider ranges, right? And then you simulate the semifinals and then the finals based on the same principle. What this creates is not just it does create a kind of middle headline average that we'll look at. It also creates a range of possibilities of there's X% chance of this happening, there's X% of it being higher, there's X% of it being lower, which obviously produces lots more it's different. You could get a lot of different things out of it. Whereas James, and I'm going to put on the latest semi-final prediction on screen. Your model works in a slightly different way, and it has a lot of more different values that sort of get put into it. It doesn't involve sort of third-party inputs from fans and so on, right? So it does things in a slightly different way. Would you like to explain that?
Yeah, so, I mean, it's not necessarily, there's no input from fans. I mean, I use some data that's kind of fan-led. For example, like my Eurovision scoreboards rankings are in the model. The Eurovision World Poll, the big one that they run, is in the model. And also, as of this update, because Dolphins work with like all the research into how fans were thinking it was going to do jury televote was really helpful. That is in the model now as well, although it's used in a different way to how Dolphin is using it. It's not like a weight of the performance of the song. It's more of a seesaw balance of, is it 70% televote or is it 40% jury, that kind of thing. So, and also unlike Dolphins, where he's doing 100,000 simulations, which by the way is absolutely insane mathematically, the model is a one hit. So it gets all the numbers in and then it runs one hit based on that. And what you see is the last hit that it did.
Mm-hmm. And so we talked about this previously. This is a result where, like, I agree mostly. Like, there's things I'm I look at this and I think, yeah, I can see that happening. Like Sweden's high score, self-explanatory.
What do you disagree with, Gabe?
Cyprus.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. Cyprus has moved up in the odds in the last 2 weeks, but I don't know why. It just has. So because the model is a reflection of the odds, that's kind of what's happened with Cyprus.
I think the thing is, and this is one criticism I would have, is that at the moment where there's very low betting volume, small amounts of money moving could have an outsized impact on
Absolutely
this.
correct.
But at the same time, when you don't know how much money is moving in those markets, and we don't, it creates that natural uncertainty that I guess we can't get around. GJ, is there anything that you look at this and think,
So this for the first one. So this is semi-final one, yeah?
Yeah.
Things that surprised me on this is I would say that I'm surprised at Iceland not being in and Belgium being that high. I will expect them to qualify, but I do wonder if the sort of techno, younger, like bolder sound of it, if that will get an older demographic in the semi-final to vote for it, because it is quite dark in that sense, and we just know that may just not engage people to vote on it. We'll say it's great fun. So I'm wondering why, like, Belgium being fourth was something that really surprised me in this one.
I'm gonna keep pushing forward, just because we are limited on time. So I am also going to look at what Dolphins' average is, and this also gives you percentage qualification chances for each song, the average score that each is getting. And what we actually see here is the two models agree at the moment on 10 out of 10 qualifiers. The big difference is the order. You can see Espresso Macchiato does better. Zerm does better. You have Strobe Lights actually under threat here to not qualify and being in that sort of maybe group. And I think there is something between the two of you. I think you're somewhat right about Strobe Lights, because if you average it out again and end up somewhere in the middle, that's probably where I'd say we are. 5th place, 6th place, like GJ said. It's interesting that the average points and the percentage chance here seem to like that it's a very different, because of the way our brains work, it tells a very different story. We look at 16 points difference between Hush and Roa and we think, wow, that's quite a big difference. But then we look at a 41.9% chance of Roa qualifying. We think, that's a pretty good chance, right? I also agree with what you said, GJ. I really think Iceland are in. James, is there anything here that sticks out to you, sort of saying, this is very different to what I expect, or I agree or disagree with this, anything like that?
There are differences massively. I mean, obviously, like Zerm and Espresso Macchiato are much higher here. Strobe Lights is down. C'est la vie is quite a way down on where it is in my thing. The main thing is that, like you've said already, there's a difference in methodologies. How Dolphin's done it, as I understand it, is that it's based on like this fan poll that he's done where they've evaluated the strength of each song in the jury and the televote. Mine isn't just on the fan strength, it's primarily on really the movement in the betting odds, because I have found that's the biggest correlation in terms of the results based on how I've tested it on previous shows. Not to say that one approach is better than the other. They are both incredibly valuable, and I think Dolphin's model is in a lot of just absolutely brilliant and is worth checking out. But yeah, because of those differences in methodology, there are differences in points, as you can see. It's interesting that we've got the same 10 though.
Yeah, I think.
And also,
sorry, go on, GJ.
No, I was going to make a joke. I'll do it in a sec.
Oh, I want to hear it now. But I guess now it's
say that. Well, looking at these results, and at Dolphins model, I just want to bring up that these will probably be very appropriate, because Clayman gave me how much time do we have left to get the tissues?
Oh yeah, more of the merch that we talked about.
Final piece of merch for today, and I've been like waiting to like put that in there somewhere. Now it felt appropriately.
No, that was a good
timing.
It was good timing. And I meant to get to those tissues, and I meant to go to them earlier on and didn't get to them. So thank you. Anyway. Let's take a little look at semi 2. I think as
which I find just in general harder to predict, and
this is much tougher.
And isn't it just interesting how that's been the case the last 3 editions, where the second semifinal's always been that one where you go, I don't know what, I just harder to predict until we get there.
Right, I'm gonna go for there. We go, so we can see everything there. So, we'll start with your model again, James, and it reflects how tight it is to qualify. What really surprises me here, firstly, is how comfortably Ireland is in, and how much trouble Greece is in. Obviously, I just made a video last week where I had Greece basically over the line, not worrying about it, and Ireland in a really tough fight to get through. Was that something that surprised either of you as well? And is there anything else that you guys think is unexpected here?
I mean, I'd love to say, with the model, because it's all based on the stats and the data I get in, it's not necessarily that I agree with it. Like, this is something that I think Greece should be ahead of Ireland in my head. But it's interesting that the numbers spit this out. I think the main reason that this is happening is because the way the model weights songs is on this seesaw of how good is it in the jury, how good is it in the televote, and kind of the further you move one way, the less you are with the other. Ireland is quite a way to the televote side, and Greece is actually a little bit of a way to the jury side. So in a televote only semi-final, Greece would be expected to perform a little bit more weakly than the song's strength in a final, because it does really well in the final. Whereas Ireland doesn't do very well in the final at all, but because this is televote only, there's a difference in how that works. I don't think Ireland will be that high personally, but it's interesting that it's up there.
GJ, thoughts?
Things that really surprised me on this one is Latvia, not barely scraping onto that. You know, Aiko should have qualified Justice 4 kind of role last year. That was one that really surprised me. I'm happy to see Czechia do fifth in the televote only. Is I think really well.
They're the biggest climbers in this model as well.
Yeah. On the other hand, I mean, there are some things in this where, taste-wise, I would have liked to see different, but I understand its appeal. Where Ireland is one of those, where I am just like, right, not fully up my alley, but, you know, I understand where this model's coming from. So that's mostly my guesses on this. Can't wait to discuss the final.
Yes, we're going to get to that in a moment. What's interesting...
No, Gabe, you first.
Oh yes, me. Oh yes. I have opinions too. I forgot about that. So I was so focused on moving on. I'm surprised Georgia has that many points. I'm surprised Lithuania has that few. I think Lithuania's going to do better than that. It's sailing through. I think one thing that I'm absolutely not surprised by, and I think this is the conventional wisdom, I think everyone knows that Israel and Finland are going to be 1 and 2 in this semi. I am optimistic. I think Finland could actually win the semi, because I don't think the Israel televote thing is going to be as strong this year. And we just got raided by my good friend Mackwell. You guys are going to have to tell me what actually happened in the Madrid versus Arsenal match, because I have no idea. I've been so deep in the sauce. I've had my shoes in the soup while you guys have been watching that football.
You've had your what in the sauce because you don't use sauce. We discussed that tonight.
Okay, I've had my feet. I've had my feet in the nothing burger. I've had my feet in the nothing burger.
There we go.
Arsenal won. Good, because I don't like Real Madrid.
Newcastle hit 5, by the way, if you want to know.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. Oh, that's made me pleased. Mackwell, I will say, because I know Mackwell loves Portugal, I'm just going to quickly scroll up and give you a jump scare, guys. It's not looking great at the moment. With that, let's move on let's move on to Dolphin Dane's model, which has some differences. Firstly, nowhere near as bullish on Ireland. More confidence, a little more confidence on Greece, but still not very much. About the same on Lithuania, and also has Ishkoma winning up at the top. Is there anything that jumps out to either of you guys about this one?
I would say something that jumps out to me on this one is Wasted Love doing that well. I would have expected if Ishkoma does well, then I would expect Serving to be third.
Interesting.
I don't think that's impossible.
I'm not sure. I think Ishkoma, and Overthinking It, done a fantastic a fantastic video about this today. I think that they serve sort of adjacent, but that they've got these sort of this Venn diagram, right? I think there's lots of space for both of them, and I also think that a lot of the people who would potentially there are people who will like Ishkoma who won't like Serving, vice versa. I should quickly say, by the way, to all of the new joiners from Macwell Stream, thank you so much, and thank you Mackrell for the raid. It's extremely kind. For those of you guys who don't know who I am, my name is Gabe. I yap way too much about the Eurovision Song Contest. As you can see, sometimes I do it on live stream with friends. Sometimes I do it on video, but it's fantastic to have you here. Make sure to follow on Twitch. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss anything. We've got a lot of stuff coming up. Obviously, Eurovision is just around the corner, so things are only going to get more intense, and I really hope to see some of you there. The thing I'm taking away from this, though, guys, is that I think it shows you that those 5 songs, Latvia, Denmark, Armenia, Ireland, Serbia, just how much of a scrap this is looking like now.
Yep.
I talked about this last Friday, but I think there's so little to decide between those 5. Potentially only 1 spot, maybe 2, if Luxembourg or possibly Greece, if there was going to be a big shock, slip up. I don't know how to separate them. I tried to work through it as sort of a thought experiment last week, and I couldn't really. I could say, well, I think this one is the most likely. But, I mean, this could be 5 songs with a few points apart. We could see a qualifier decided on a tiebreaker. Who would you want out of those 5? On personal taste alone. You can only pick one.
Either Latvia or Denmark, because I love both of those songs. Like, they're right up my alley. I'd probably just about say Latvia, just because it's a bit more unique, and Hallucination is a bit more like standard Melfest pop, whereas Burman Limey is really unique. So I'd like that to go through.
GJ.
I'm going with Latvia based on the fact that it's not in English.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I like Latvia very much. I have a soft spot for Emmy, and I also listen to Hallucination a lot, so it's difficult for me to say. I think I'd probably say Latvia. Latvia by a short little margin. Now, let's move on, because I'm aware we're running very... Sorry, go ahead, and then we're going to move on.
Yeah, I was just going to say one thing about semi-final 2 in my model, which is important to note for the chat. Haag is up by 1 point over the last 2 weeks. So
there it is.
It's possible, everyone.
I might qualify for the grand final of Eurovision.
Listen,
you might get out. I don't want to say it, but like, there's a chance.
There is this, like, sorry, my brain every time, it's also like later, I'm an hour behind you guys. Every time you say Parg, I just think of the Star Wars. I just think of Star Wars, and I think of the Porgs, and a Porg actually really looks like Gabe as well, with those cute little, like, adorable little eyes. So it's like a triangle now of Porg, Garg, and Parg. I love it.
Porg, Garg, and Parg. And now, apparently, Gorg. Dolphin Dane just says jail. And you know what? I'm inclined to agree. Let's have a little look at the final of this show, because obviously those models then produce a final. This is the headline result, the top 5 on the model. We're going to look at the full result as well. But it has Kai taking it with 447. Notably, that's a lower score than has won the contest in recent years. France in second, 435. And third, Austria with 395. Both of those latter two led by juries. You then have the Netherlands in 4th and Israel in 5th. GJ, you must be very happy with this.
Listen, I'm on a very happy train on this. You know what? I always see myself as a, neutral observer of the Eurovision Song Contest, but occasionally that pride comes out, and I swear this model is wrong. This model is wrong. This model is wrong, but it's good to see, because I think that in the end, the juries and the televote will be so different in terms of their results, with the amount of songs that they're choosing from, and songs eating each other up in terms of genres, that, Claude could pull a Duncan, get a consistent high spot in those top 2, top 3 for both, and be the only consistent one in there, and get that win.
See, people, one thing I want to mention, there's a few people talking about no way that so many jury songs are going to get so high. But I think, and so many ballads are going to get so high. But I think you've got to look at this. It's logical if you end up with a televote result like this, where the highest score doesn't even top 270. Now, personally, I actually think Sweden are going to win, because they're going to do much better than this with the televote. I think they could get 300s. But, I think that's a logical conclusion of a model that produces this televote result. Now, I do want to look into the grand final prediction of Dolphin Dane as well. Now, there are some songs you agree on this top 5. Top 5. Sweden, no, I'm looking at the wrong one. Sweden, Austria, France, and the Netherlands. Dolphin has Israel down in 6th instead of 4th, and Finland there instead. I think that, I mean, the thing is this big unknown. And by the way, thank you to Sundrop Center who donated $4.99. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for that. I just wanted to quickly mention that while I remembered. This is the big unknown, right, about Israel's televote potential. They're not going to win the contest, I don't think, in any situation. Because, I mean, they're not going to do this badly with the jury. They're not going to get 37, but they're not going to cross 3 figures with the jury. And you can't win the contest in that way. It's just not possible. This score is even lower. 385 to win the contest would be astonishingly low, like unprecedented. So I think this model is maybe a little too flat at the moment. It should be noted that these are averages, and usually the winner has 481 points. The gaps are bigger in the Sims. There we go.
Yeah, that's a fair number.
So let's try not to look at the numbers and look at the placements instead. And again, I look at this and it makes sense to me. What do you guys think? That top 10, at least.
Yeah, I think Dolphins
their top 10 is very clear.
Really solid. Really, really solid. Like, it's like you say, Gabe, like the points at the moment are more indicative. What happens usually is in the last week or two, the odds really firm up because that's when all the main betting starts to happen. You know, you get all the stagings, we know more about it. So it really firms up. And by the end, I think the model will be spitting out a winner with 500 and something points, or maybe even 600 and something points if there's a big leader. So it will, those things strengthen, and Dolphins will as well, because law of averages dictates the firmer something gets, the firmer it gets on the average. But the positions, I think, are pretty solid. They're not a million miles off mine either. Yeah, this is a great bit of work. I just want to shout out Dolphin. He's one of the best creators in Eurovision, full stop. If you like numbers, he is the guy.
It's really fantastic. So with that, we're coming towards the end of the stream. It's about to turn 10:30 here and 11:30 where GJ is. So I think it's time to wrap it up. I'm going to give you both one thing that you've taken away from this pre-party season. It can be anything. Pick anything you want and just throw it out there into the world.
It really, really benefits artists to do one pre-party a weekend. It has made them all more rested, or at least, you know, in the same country. Like this weekend, they were in Manchester and in London, so they're not that far apart. They're not, most of them aren't flying from one to the other. They're just rested. They have fun with it. They get to do their own thing. I wish some of them were a little bit more supported still by their broadcaster, as we saw, especially this weekend. A lot of them come with their own personal manager or a friend. Like, send your head of press, broadcasters. Give that artist that little bit of buffer where they don't have to do all like the managing and stuff themselves. It makes it a lot more easier. But yeah, it's just been a really good pre-party season, and I think seeing almost everyone live has not made things a lot clearer.
James?
I would say that pre-parties are a win-win. And that's why I like them, is because everyone gets some kind of win out of it. For the artists, I think they get the joy of going out to a place where they may have never performed before, and you get a crowd of thousands of people who already know all of the words to your song, who are absolutely like feral for you. And that must be so motivating for them to know that they've got that support in the room. It's great for the broadcasters and the delegations, because obviously their artist is getting promotion. They're getting more in the public eye. That's what they want to do. They're keenly aware of the race and where they are in it, so they want to make sure they're getting the edge. And then obviously for the fans in the room, what a brilliant opportunity to go and watch so many of the Eurovision artists. I mean, so many people are not in the position where they're going to be able to go to Basel this year, whether that's work or whether that's the expense of it. You know, that is not an everyday thing. So the fact that people can pay a lot less than a Basel trip would be to go to Amsterdam or go to London or go to Madrid, obviously, this weekend, because that's happening, to go and watch so many of these artists is really, really valuable. And I think sometimes we, in like the fan media side with access and stuff, sometimes forget that like for most people, this is like their one Eurovision taste. And that's why the pre-parties are so good, because it unifies Eurovision around them.
And I think also one thing I want to finish off with is, I remember I made a joke last week or the week before. I was like, you know, oh, I've seen Kano so many times, for example. But I think what I hadn't thought, and a lot of people mentioned this in chat at the time, and I've been thinking about it ever since. For a lot of people, whether it's Kano or whoever else, this is the one chance that people get to see these artists.
Yep.
The one chance. You know, and in fact, in the case of someone like Kano, who's been around the circuit for some time, people might have seen them in 2019 and been like, I would love to see that live. And it finally comes through all those years later. I think it's a really special thing that a lot of people get this, get that opportunity. So many more people have access, and it's the tickets are much less competitive. There were still London tickets left quite late, and meant that if you wanted to go, you could go and see these artists without going through the whole, insanely expensive and complex process of actually getting to the contest. And I do want to say, I thought that specifically on London, I'm coming to you, GJ, I promise. Specifically on London, I will say as well, I thought that it was dramatically improved this year. And it feels like it's sort of, everything, like the press room was a little less hectic, still hectic, but a little less hectic. Artists seemed more comfortable in it. The schedules were better put together. Sound checks spread over a larger amount of time. They had more staff available. There was just lots of things that they really improved this year, and hopefully that'll keep going. And I did want to mention that as well. So those are the things I've taken away from it. GJ, go ahead, and then I'm going to wrap up.
Piggybacking on your Kino thing, my discovery from this pre-party season is Maria Sur will one day win Melfest, clearly.
Definitely.
Second of all, this was my first time being at Mankagan and at LEP, and seeing both of them, and then having my years of experience of going to Eurovision concert. All three were run really, really well. I think Mankagan was a fresh, new idea that they were doing. I have to shout out all the drag performers that were there, and I mean, seeing Marmalade do Undo, seeing Relisa Slaves do JJ's Wasted Love, seeing Chanel O'Connor do Ich Komme was really an amazing asset to it. It was really well organized. That venue is amazing, and I hope they continue forward with it. But also seeing LEP, I've produced events. Coming into a new venue is hard. You have to try out so many things that no manual can actually figure out. It ran really smooth this year. It went on time. There was nobody puking on the floor, so Mel Gidrich didn't have to come and clean shit up.
I knew that was going to come up.
The bar was fine. The staff was really, to me, really comfortable and really nice. The acts there was no one where, except I think for the first one with Dolly Style, no acts, got the wrong song put in or the wrong visual put in. The sound was great. The hosts were maybe a little bit on the timid side. I mean, I can't fault Colleen because her voice she was, not at the best health. So, but the other two were maybe a little bit of right, could we have given them an extra coffee? But then again, I don't have any clip. But they were both run really, really well, and I think you guys get to have two pre-parties in the UK. You guys are blessed. Let's hope they're both there next year.
Incredibly so.
I will say, I'm going to conclude with this. I actually know. I'm not going to say who it is, but I know who it was who threw up on the floor at LEP. The infamous incident that Mel Gidroik came and looked at. I'm not saying who it is, but if they're watching, you know what you did. In all seriousness. Thank you both so much for joining us this evening. Guys, this has been such an amazing stream. Thank you all for watching as well. We will be back. I'm not sure if it's next Wednesday or next Sunday. I'm going to come back to you all about that. Make sure, as I always say, make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. Make sure you're following on Twitch. And make sure that you are available later this week, because the Eurovision 2025 All Songs tier list is coming. It's filmed. I filmed it this morning. It's being edited as we speak. And I cannot wait for you all to see it. And with that, it's goodbye from GJ and his box.
Exactly. My box, you can follow me really quickly on @Gekoimon on Instagram, but mostly follow @Eurovision Podcast on Instagram, because that's where all the adventures, Instagrams, and YouTube videos and everything will be coming.
And it's goodbye from James.
Yes, and you can find me producing and hosting the Eurovoix podcast for Eurovoix, which is my labour of love, and also obviously with the model. So if you like Eurovision numbers, go over to Eurovoix. That's where the model lives, and you can follow me @JamesMakesStuff on Twitter and most other places.
And it's obviously goodbye from me as well. I'm gonna go and eat. I think I've got some Easter egg in the cupboard, and I know it's not Easter yet, but I'm gonna eat that. So
I still have cookies.
And you should eat those cookies. They're delicious. All right. Good night, everyone.